in rare form, I believe we have an update in regards to our cold open from the G4 episode. The one on Abandoned?
Yes.
The Kojima, not Kojima, first-person horror game in the woods. Austin, you sent me some new info earlier, and this whole project is weird. Like, I'm literally more confused now than when I was when I brought it up before. The app stuff, the translation stuff. I do love how these devs have to keep making statements that they're not affiliated, though. Because, if you aren't, then maybe stop acting so fucking suspicious all the time.
Yeah, so...
I know fans of things are desperate for anything, but at this point, I feel like they're doing it to themselves.
Yeah, Abandoned is apparently not the name anymore.
What?
That was like a working title.
Okay.
Because the whole thing started when...
They released a trailer called
They did,
yeah.
But during E3, they're like, Abandoned's not the name. We're doing a name reveal coming soon. And then it said, hint, it begins with an S and ends with an L.
That's a bit of a...
And everybody was like, oh, so Silent Hill? Kojima? Huh? And then they had to come out and say, we do not own Silent Hill. Konami owns that. We're not making Silent Hill. We are not Kojima.
And then there's the box thing, which is... Because, wait, what's the name of the...
Blue Box.
Blue Box.
I think is the name of the studio.
Mm-hmm. As opposed to White Whale...
Moby Dick.
Moby Dick, okay.
That was the
yeah.
Phantom Pain people.
That was close.
And then 7780.
And then
7780s.
What is... Oh, yeah, that was the PT.
That was PT.
But it's... You have to download the teaser to the PS5 to watch it the way it's supposed to be viewed. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Doesn't that seem like a Kojima-ass move?
It does. It's a very auteur thing to do.
Uh-huh.
Where it's like, who was the one director? I can't remember who it was, but there was a director who was like, turn off motion smoothing on your TVs, you fucking idiots. Who was that?
I don't know.
I forget. They were just like, you're ruining my movies.
That's pretty good advice, though.
It is.
But the it's the Abandoned thing, though, it's funny because what is it? Is it published by Sony?
No, I think it's just an indie game.
It says PS5 exclusive.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if they were...
It's not announced that it's published by Sony. Maybe it is. Maybe it's Kojima. Who knows? Honestly, it was one of those things where I was like, when we first talked about it, I was like, yeah, they made something that looks kind of like PT, so people are like, oh, it's Kojima.
Yeah, I mean, people were doing that for a while.
Yeah, but then with this blunder, I was like, oh, come on. Like, you're trolling at this point. Like,
yeah,
you know what you're doing.
Hey, it's smart on their part. I think that's what we were joking about the first,
Yeah, people don't click on articles about random indie games, but they will click on an article about Kojima.
And some of the photo, it does, do you see, the way that it's kind of almost like the way it's animated with holding the gun in first person. It looks like Village or something.
Yeah, it does.
Very, it's channeling that same energy.
It looks a little high budget for an indie horror title.
It does, but we'll see how the backgrounds look in unison with the everything else. Because it might not. I mean, there's combat in it. That's implied, which is more than I think a lot of indie horror games are able to do. But if it's just mostly exploration and in these then that would be achievable depending on the budget. If that was,
if they make it smart.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't want to label it as like a walking sim or anything. We don't know enough about it yet. It could be pretty mechanically dense for all we know.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see. So hello, listeners, and welcome to our 2021 E3 Hot Button special, something we didn't get to do for you last year, as it was canceled. Instead, we actually ran through a bit of the history of the event, as well as the organization behind it, known as the ESA. But after an already rocky-looking 2020 for them was beginning to fall apart, I'm talking their now tumultuous relationship with IM8-Bit and the ending of partnership with Jeff Keighley, entire change in direction of their brand moving forward. In swooped in COVID to become the final straw and them having to, take a big step back from the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Until now. The conferences have returned, sort of. The behind closed doors meetings are here, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
The floor is open, not really. There are passes, though, I think, and Judges Week with their awards, but, it's different. Well,
Yeah.
I'm certainly not going to be the only one to claim that the handling of their first all-digital E3 was messy at times. There was still some celebrations to be had. Announcements did happen. Demos were released. Montages shown. Leaks leaked. Phil Spencer. I'm Randall Beatrice, here with Austin Blakesley.
Hello.
Just the two of us today. What do you say we run down our handy list of who did what this past week?
All right.
Which this is, I guess, kicking it off with Summer Games Fest on Thursday. Although this was not technically part of E3, correct?
No.
Okay, there were some shared games.
It was and it wasn't. Legally, it's not a part of E3, but also it was a part of E3.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'd lined up the dates and times pretty.
Yeah,
That was planned.
Jeff Keighley did that on purpose, but legally it wasn't put on by the ESA, so it's not E3.
Right. Yeah.
That was the funniest thing was that they started using. Jeff Keighley stole the thing from Xbox where they go world premiere, right? So then
Yes.
E3 started doing E3 exclusive, which was just hilarious.
There's still bad blood, I guess.
I guess so.
The wars. So some of this, what I'm about to read here at this particular showing, is a tad out of order towards the end, mostly because I wasn't writing these down at first because I wasn't sure if we'd be covering it, but we should. It only makes sense. But the first reveal of the, I guess the whole week, although this was, word of this I do believe got out beforehand, but that's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Right.
Which was a sequel to Borderlands, well, more or less to the Borderlands 2 DLC that you played. I did not. It's
Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What's Dungeon Keep? What was the thing? That's the wrong thing. And it's starring Ashley Birch, of course, as the titular Tiny Tina. Can't speak today. But also included on this cast is Andy Samberg, Wanda Sykes, and Will Arnett.
Interesting cast of characters.
Yeah, and there's no definitive release date, just says early 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think? Did you finish 3?
Yeah.
Okay. You like it?
No.
All right. Do you think it's a little bit too late to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't care.
That's fair.
That's the best way I could put it is
It's a cute concept, but in 2022.
I barely... Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games. Top 100 games of all time. Maybe even top 50. And I barely cared about the pre-sequel. Mm-hmm. And I was very disappointed by Borderlands 3.
I know you weren't the only one. And,
yeah.
And we covered... we did the 2 whole, episodes leading into the launch, that release, and so, didn't seem to strike the same chord with
They're
people.
going to have to do... I'll probably buy it because I'm an idiot, but they're going to have to do something to really win me over.
I wonder if the gameplay's exactly the same.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I wasn't...
You think Gearbox is going to change anything about Borderlands? The best thing they've ever done with Borderlands was give it to Telltale.
It's true. Good point. Then next up is there's a Metal Slug Tactics game called Metal Slug Tactics.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I love that the style of it.
Metal Slug's gorgeous.
Yeah. And
it looks cool to see it from other angles.
It does.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be curious to see more of that.
I don't like tactics games.
Not so much either, but.
And we'll get back to. I'll give it runner-up for best tactics game shown at E3. We'll get to number 1 later.
Going back to Kojima, I mean, he's buddy with Jeff Keighley. We thought he might be here, but it seemed like he was going to announce a new project, which he technically did. And
technically.
with deaths, well, this was after his quote about 9/11 that got passed around with
the hype meter on it. God, I hate Twitch.
Yeah, they're the worst.
How, bro, how are you gonna take the least edited game in
That's
all
what
of
I'm saying.
history and do a director's cut?
I was like, it's a director's
I am
cut
not
of
the
Death
first-
Stranding for PS5.
Yeah.
What did they cut out of that game?
No, it's got to be long. Director's cuts are usually longer, which I'm not the first person to make that
No,
joke.
I'm saying that
everybody said it, but
what was like not.
oh, what did they cut out at the beginning?
Yeah.
God, I don't fucking know.
I mean, I guess a box. That's the
like a Metal Gear level.
The trailer is that he gets into a box. Yeah, it's indoors, which is strange for those that played Death Stranding, and it is very Metal Gear looking.
People got released the Kojima cut trending after the Snyder cut. He got confused because that was not the game we wanted a director's cut of, Kojima.
I mean, I stand by Death Stranding, but
sure.
I would have liked to see whatever horror thing that everyone's been.
Yeah, I think I was talking to somebody and they said like.
I mean, it's only 2 years ago. He probably
I've been putting off playing through Dead
out.
Stranding, but now I might as well wait for a PS5 version with more content.
That's true.
I guess. So.
Yeah.
I'll buy it and then fall off of it and not beat it again. Sure.
You bastard. But I get it.
Yeah.
Then Jeff Goldblum returns for. This was it was Dragon World Evolution 2.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah. No, it's Jurassic World. It's actually branded as Jurassic World.
You said Dragon World.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a lot of dragons that are.
There is, yeah. We both got it wrong. I was just correcting you with another wrong answer.
But yeah, I actually kind of had hopes for that first one, and then it seemed like it was.
Yeah.
So
it has a surprisingly diehard fan base.
Did it? Okay, my impression was that it didn't light the world on fire. But
it didn't, but it's got its fans, and I think it made enough money that they're just like, give them more.
It'll line up with that next movie.
Yep.
All those films are bad after one. Just
the opening
terrible
scene
franchise.
to Jurassic Park 2 is great. Where the little girl gets eaten.
Oh, by the compies?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, after that, the series went downhill.
Well, no, there's a part in The Lost World where they go, the RV, the trailer's hanging off the cliff. That scene's fucking amazing. It's so well shot and, the most tense, and then, set piece, and then that was the series going off the cliff, and then everything beyond that is,
Right.
Then, Japanese Breakfast performed a song for Sable.
Okay.
Which is a neat look. There is a demo of that out now on Steam and Xbox.
Yes.
It's coming September 23rd.
I've not played the demo yet.
Me neither.
But.
Very distinct look visually, which I'm into, but gameplay wise, I don't really know what you're doing. It seems like it's a lot of wander, exploration, isolation.
Sure. I mean, that seems like a good game to put a demo out for it. They're like, we're not gonna explain it to you, just play it.
And I think that was similar to Cuphead was one of those rapid fire montage games from an Xbox, an ID at Xbox block, maybe last year or the year before.
Because that's a Game Pass Day 1 game.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's Lost Ark, which was an MMO from Korea and Japan that is coming to the U.S. and Europe through Amazon. So this is their third chance.
How do you out Blizzard? You publish 2 MMOs.
Is that other one still a thing?
Yeah.
I mean, Crucible 8, so...
What's it called? The Old World? The New World?
I don't know.
New World.
New World? I mean, this isn't going to be running on Lumberyard, though, because it already exists. They're just publishing.
Shoot. CryEngine looks so bad, dude.
There's Season 4 of Warzone. Some new stuff there. Among Us, which has a new mode that you said was a popular custom hide and seek. Yeah. Then map. I think there's new map, some new colors, and then roles as well.
Yeah, new roles and 15-player lobbies.
Yes, 15-player lobbies was the big thing that they didn't totally make clear here until it. I think it later came back at the Xbox conference, and that's when they were very distinctly yo, 15 people. Which 15 people does sound kind of wild. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
We'll have to gather up the troops for that. It's been a while. And Salt and Sacrifice, the successor to Salt and Sanctuary, which all I know about that game is that it's apparently impossible.
Yeah, it's made by the people that I made a game with zombies in it.
Wait,
And
really?
Dishwasher Samurai.
That
yeah.
indie, like the
Scott
the
Studios.
Xbox indie?
Yeah.
No, oh yeah, that is Scott Studios. Charlie Murder, was that them as well?
Yes.
Okay. Man, the Dishwasher. I think the Dishwasher might have gotten a sequel.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Actually, now that you mention it, the design of the characters, that makes a lot of sense. Solar Ash still looks good. I'd like it to come out already because we've
Yeah.
seen a lot. That's the Hyperlight Drifter.
That's kind of one of those ones where I'm like, I'm buying it already. Stop showing me stuff. Just
Right.
release it.
There's a new hero for Valorant, which I saw you playing the other day. Something you're not telling me?
I was playing Valorant?
I think so. I saw it pop up on Discord.
That doesn't seem right.
It doesn't sound like you.
I certainly wasn't playing Valorant.
All right. We'll have to get up after.
I'm not lying, I swear.
Then a new, I guess, like field map for Escape from Tarkov. I know those folks are real into that. Chivalry 2 seems like a stupid good time. It just came out, actually, like a week ago or a few days ago.
Yeah.
I kind of want to try it.
Yeah.
That first one was also, it was fun. 2 Point Campus, which this leaked. I don't know. People like the 2 Point series.
Mm-hmm.
I think the art style's a little ugly. Gives me mobile game vibes.
It's weird. I like those sim-like games, those builder games.
I wish everything's wacky now, though.
I know.
I want to know what it's like to actually try. Like, SimCity never got absurd, you know? Like,
the theme matters, though.
yeah. Like, there was the hospital. Was the one they did
I
before.
played 2 Point Hospital. It's a good game, but it is wacky and...
I guess a hospital sim might be depressing. I don't know.
Yeah. There's just so much you have to do in those games. I don't want to do any of it.
That's also, if I hadn't said already, 2022. Stranger Things content is coming to Smite.
Yeah.
Like,
Now you
I
can
don't know,
play as 11 versus Aang and the Ninja Turtles. That game really went off the rails, huh?
my brain. And yes, that's next month, I believe, when that update hits. Then Koch Media.
Koch.
They announced a new publishing label.
Prime Matter.
Prime Matter? Is that what it's called? Okay, I didn't have that. Saber Interactive is supposedly they're making a new Painkiller.
Yes.
All right, bring that back. Then there's a new Gungrave, and Payday 3 is still happening under them.
Yeah.
All right, you might have to correct me again if I'm not reading the name of this game right. Is it the Anacrusis?
I think so.
Yeah? The poor man's Left 4 Dead in space?
Yeah.
That was mean, but
Yeah, you're right.
that seems to be that's a very popular genre this year. But, you know, maybe we'll see more of that. And then Fast and Furious cars, it says return to Rocket League, which means they must have left at some point, and then...
Nah, there's...
Or these are different cars for the new movie.
Yeah, because Dom has a different car now than he did at the beginning.
Doesn't he have the Charger or the Challenger? Which one?
Charger? Whatever. Either way, his car from Fast 7 or 8 is in Rocket League, but this is the one from Fast 9.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt.
Hell yeah, dude.
Is correct? Is a battle royale?
Yeah, it's like a
Am I right
it's
about-
like a first-person shooter.
And one of two Vampire the Masquerade games announced.
That's not Bloodlines
That's
2.
not Bloodlines 2.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I'm into it.
Okay.
Look, Shadowrun for the Xbox 360 is criminally underrated. And if people want to make more competitive shooters where I get to do magic,
Yeah.
and play as vampires, hell yeah, dude.
All right. Yeah.
I signed up for the beta. We'll see.
Then it's the next, the third in the series of 8 Dark Pictures horror games that I think on record of being a big fan of. House of Ashes, which was previously announced, but now it has a date, October 22nd. around Halloween time again, so that'll be cool. I have more to say about that, but I'm gonna wait until Namco Bandai's thing because that was essentially all they showed. New Tales game of Arise. I think Tales of Arise. Something called Sky from that game company. It's coming to Switch.
Yeah, so that game already exists on iPhone.
Oh, okay.
It's been iOS exclusive for God, I want to say 2 years.
Is that part of the Apple Arcade thing?
No.
Okay.
It's just on.
Oh.
It's just been on iOS and only iOS.
I'm sure it'll be cute, pretentious, boring, and everyone will love it but me.
It's like free to play. Kind of
All right.
sucks.
No. All right, never mind then.
Yeah. It's no Journey.
Yeah. Planet of Lana. Seems like Limbo crossed with Ori in terms of the kind of vibes it gives me.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it was quick. Overwatch 2 showed Baptiste and Sombra skins. It's stupid. Like, these characters have already appeared wearing every outfit and color under the sun. Why would I be impressed by that?
They're updating the base skins.
Yeah, but nobody how often are they going to be shown other than in cutscenes of...
Yeah, I mean, I guess in cutscenes, right?
Yeah.
That's why.
I guess if that's all they had.
Yep. I'm sure that game's coming along great.
They don't got Papa Jeff no more.
No. R.I.P.
Yeah. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, which is the first of 3 times that we're going to see that thing.
Sorry, I just yawned randomly when you said that.
I'm still confused as to why there are, speaking of threes, that Monster Hunter currently has 3 separate, entities.
Yeah.
You have and they all have different sort of, budgets and presentations and sometimes platforms they appear on. Because it's, what just came out? Rise?
Rise.
And this is Stories 2.
Yes.
Sequel to Stories 1.
Yes.
No affiliation with Rise.
No.
Or World.
No.
World is the one that has probably the most, gumption behind it.
Yeah.
All right. Just seeing if I can get my record straight. That's coming July 9th.
World is an evolution of, the Wii U ones, like Monster Hunter Tri.
Is Stories more from the handheld ones, the PSP?
Rise... Wait, what'd I say? World is from the Wii U ones. Rise is from the 3DS ones, because there were 3DS Monster Hunter games.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Stories is a sequel to Stories 1, which is a Pokemon ripoff.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Okay.
You, capture the monsters and tame them, and then they fight for you.
I'm not going to remember any of this, by the way.
Monsties.
Is that what they're...
That's what they're called.
I'm just going to move on to Weezer is next on my list, which Keeley was very upfront about, saying that you can stream this. Playing their new song for Wave Break in promotion with their upcoming Hella Mega Tour,
which
with Green Day and Blink-182.
I feel bad for Wave Break because it seems neat, but they released it at a bad time.
With all the other...
There are too many games coming out right now. Guilty Gear Strive, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, and the Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade all came out in the same 48-hour period.
So did that Garage Maker game that we talked about last week.
And then they're like, here's this Wave Race / Tony Hawk game. And I was like, that sounds like a neat idea. I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah, I have too much.
I don't have money anymore.
Then it's Endless Dungeon. It's like a roguelike from Sega.
Okay.
Then they're adding a 2B skin into Fall Guys.
Yeah.
The character from Nier.
Yep.
Or Nier Automata, I should say. Automata.
All
right. And speaking of, then they had a little thing for Rift Apart, which I finally started yesterday, and it rules. Then there was an interview with who's the villain bad guy, Far Cry 6. He talked
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes, he seems like a great actor. I don't know if I could speak to his performance in the game.
He was in The Mandalorian. You remember that? He was in it for 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, is that the first episode?
It was when I was near the end.
Oh, well,
he's also in Breaking Bad.
That I know. Yeah. So yeah, he talked about his role in the game and mentioned Hitler or something. And
Yeah, Hitler and 9/11 both got shout-outs. That's how you know it's going to be a good conference.
Then there was the formation of Deviation Games, who are ex-COD developer. Well, I guess they were
Right,
Treyarch.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a joint venture with Sony for the next project.
Yep.
But then there was I'm gonna see if you remember. I'm sure you do. How could you forget? There was a live orchestra playing music from what game?
Sonic the Werewolf one. What's it called?
Unleashed.
Unleashed.
Everyone's favorite Sonic game.
Yeah. And to quote Randy, "Where's Crush 40?"
I stand by it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Then it was Back for Blood, first of the many appearances that we'll see. There's
also a 3-appearance game.
Yeah, it might be 4.
You're right, it might be 4.
Yeah, no shortage of showings of Back for Blood. WB is if that actually hit its scheduled release date, would have been out already, right? Or was it coming out this month? No,
I think it was this week.
Oh, yeah. I think because I remember it also being close to the release.
It was in
dates
June.
Okay, I believe it would have launched by now. Which kind of it bothers me where it's just like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm saying I'm not saying the delay is an issue. I'm more just saying like it's funny to lean with that foot forward when like hell we already played it, like the beta and stuff, but I'm still looking forward to that game. Like it.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. And like I think
one of many
that
Left 4
card
Dead
systems need. It's one of many left, which is either the first or second best one, depending on that Evil Dead game turns out, because I'm also very interested in that. Then it was a demo for was revealed for Tunic, everyone's favorite adorable like Zelda type fox.
Which I played a demo for that.
Yeah,
on Steam.
I feel so bad because that was announced so long ago, and I really wanted to play it. Like me and Chelsea were looking forward to it, and I think it's just one guy, right? Or I don't know if it's maybe solely on him. But
it's a couple people now, I think. But yeah,
and it's probably he's probably been like. Development's been a bit of a struggle for it, but I still think that game looks very cute.
Yes,
and should be fun. Then Tribes of Midgard, which is Gearbox, which Vikings are the new hotness apparently. I don't know. That's July 27th. Give me a look, dear.
I'm trying to think of which fucking Viking game they're talking about. Everything's
Everybody
Vikings in Chernobyl now.
Yeah, oh my god,
folks.
I have like 5, which I'm into that. They're lit.
Sure.
I mean, I don't care about Vikings, but Chernobyl's cool. It's just a little bit, like, it's the stuff that already got announced that's using that setting and imagery that I think is grandfathered in rather than people who are like, hey, that HBO series did well. People seem to like this. And it's like, all right,
you know what?
Relax, guys.
You know what that show really made me want to do? Walk into the containment zone with a gun.
Well, it's funny, too, because they have to add a lot of character to these games because of how, like, fucking dour and, like, that true story really is.
Yeah. It's fucked up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's July 27th for the Vikings. Oh yeah, that's actually back to just talking about this, the Evil Dead game from Saber, which I guess Saber's got a lot going on now, but that game still looks sharp. I like it's 4-player co-op. I think there was the new trailer like presented like vehicles you could drive and stuff. I thought it was gonna be more Left 4 Dead when initially like shown, but this like the footage that they like released here makes it kind of appear more like the Friday the 13th game. Like it seems more involved, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it still has those modes from Left 4 Dead where it's like you can play as the bad guys. But I do like the idea of it being more objective based and less horde based. I think it'll stand out a bit more. And then the last one for Jeff's presentation, which I guess you don't got to save the for last, right? The best for last. Elden Ring, which everyone loses their shit. I'm happy for him. It's not my cup of tea, but by all accounts, I think that's or by many accounts, I shouldn't say all because I'm not in that, but by many accounts, that's a lot of top of people's list of not only the best of show, but kind of what they're looking forward to the most to play, and that is January 21st, 2022, which is an odd date because they just missed the holiday season, but not, with the exception of a couple of Resident Evil games throughout history, not a lot of big budget studios have put things out in January.
Dead Space came out. Mass Effect 2 came out in January.
Wow, Mass Effect 2? Like,
it's been since the 360 era, it's become more prevalent.
Acceptable. All right, then I guess the movie logic does not apply here of the fuck you, it's January.
No. Because the problem was it used to be like January was a dead period back in the day because everything had to be out by Christmas. But now they plan everything to be out by Christmas and then it gets delayed because video games are hard to make.
Okay.
So a lot of stuff comes out in the beginning of the year now.
I mean, that makes sense, I guess. Yeah. So the first thing I saw a bit of on Saturday, I did not watch the whole thing. If Chelsea was here, she could be our correspondent, but that was the Wholesome Direct.
Yeah.
Which was handled by a company called was the Guerrilla Initiative?
Guerrilla Collective?
Guerrilla Collective.
Yeah.
They showed a lot of, as the name implies, a lot of like cutesy, more positive sort of experiences. There was like that postal worker sim was there.
Yep, I played that.
There was that gorgeous looking the Lego puzzle game with all the ray
Played that too.
Yeah, which it reminds me of like Captain Toad almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little bites of it. And then otherwise, there was a lot of farming games. A lot of people, like, I get Pokemon Snap was something a lot of folks grew up with, but like, there's a lot of photography, taking pictures of. No Pal World, that game where you enslave, like, Pokemon type creatures and make them, like, work in factories to build guns or whatever the fuck
the Breath of the Wild Pokemon game where you, like, take a Pikachu ripoff and throw him at a goblin and then shoot him with an AK or whatever. Yeah.
But I'm sure there was some notable things there that I just unfortunately don't have reference for. We were talking a bit before this that we're going to try and cover as many like games as we can, but apologize if we miss
yeah,
something that you're looking for.
We're already a little bit into this podcast and we got a whole weekend to go through. So
yeah.
If we leave out something you're looking forward to, we're here to kind of cover the big boys. So we apologize, but it's a lot. Even in a thin year for E3, there was still a lot of news.
Yeah, for sure. Ubisoft Forward.
Really looking backward for a name like that, huh?
This was Saturday afternoon. That checks out.
Yep.
Right? Yep. Okay. The first, so they led with Rainbow Six Quarantine, which was renamed to Rainbow Six Extraction. They had a very pretty CGI trailer, but kind of disappointed to say a sort of unimpressive gameplay reveal.
Yeah.
It's mostly it's an extension of that event that they had last year, which was a very fun event. I enjoyed that.
That was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago? Oh my god, they took way too long for that game to come out. I don't even know there's going to be a full price released. I assume so, but it is a spin-off that uses the Siege like mechanics and characters. It's more. This actually is probably more Left 4 Dead. Except it's 3 people fighting aliens, and I'm not a big fan of the alien visual design in this. It's a bit uninspired. The symbiote effect is cool, but just stop doing slow walking. In Ubisoft is probably the most guilty of this. And describing every single fucking system in detail.
That game.
Nintendo ruined it for everybody.
That game has a weird, disparate art style, where when they showed the CGI trailer, right? They're showing the brutes and the spikers, whatever the fuck their Left 4 Dead analogs are, because everybody's got them. The spitter and the witch and, the Left 4 Dead mainstays, the tank. But, like, they just, I believe it was either Andrew or Chelsea who made a joke about, I think it was Andrew, made a joke about them just looking kind of like the putties from Power Rangers. Which he's right.
Yeah.
They're like the putties if they like glowed red. They kind of remind me a little bit of the enemies in GTFO, except it's more it's more forgivable in GTFO because that game is dark.
So dark. That's kind of their
lower budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but in the CGI trailer, it's like Habana gets like sucked into the symbiote.
Yeah, you see that whole scenario play out.
There's like black veins crawling across her face, and then Lion rips her off it, and it's like all gross and drippy.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is the whole game not gross and drippy?
Yeah, it because you're right. The lighting engine, like for Siege, like it's too clean and kind of like they have that sort of military G.I. Joe aesthetic, and it doesn't. It just looks like these characters are sort of thrown into the different, like, you know what I mean? Like even their worlds, like the way they use the destruction and stuff, they signify kind of what you can destroy and what you can't. Like, I don't even know if that's going to be emphasized in this.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Remember sledged through a sledge wall at the one point in the trailer.
Right, okay.
But no, it's just like you said, the symbiote effect of it, like crawling along the walls is
cool.
And it is cool,
neat.
But like the enemies don't fit with the world.
No.
The world is kind of gross.
And I'm also not
covered in goo.
Yeah.
And the enemies are not gooey enough for me.
And I'm not super into like that they all just vaporize and disappear. And I think it was Andrew again who mentioned that, or maybe you, that there was like maybe a memory choice, because you can't litter the ground with. But I don't know. It just sort of seems, it just takes me back to the old days of playing like mobile versions of shooters, or they just like that's coming September 16th. And we'll find out more. I know we're gonna try it, so
yeah, I'm gonna buy it.
I wish the party sizes were a little larger for our Siege crew.
Half the shit that we're talking about on this episode, I'm gonna buy. I'm dumb.
Well, speaking of things that I know we're going to buy day one, because our curiosity will kill us otherwise, is Rocksmith Plus.
Rocksmith Live.
Yeah, which is their it's so. Where to start here? Okay, so first it's a subscription service.
Yes.
Which is, that's probably the right path to take.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, then doing the a la carte thing, like through their storefronts. Like I think me and you were discussing the other day how like Rock Band was obviously released in a different era when that was more acceptable. But even like Fuser last year does that, and that can really add up and not look too enticing to people. The only problem with making it a constantly connect to the internet service is that it can restrict basically like some freedoms that I like wholeheartedly. I genuinely believe that I think Rocksmith has stayed relevant this long because of its custom scene.
Of course.
And something that we've both messed around with, and that shit's real rad.
And I don't think they're down on that. Like,
I'm not saying they're down on it, but
as game developers, they support modding, but legally they can't because it is.
Well, that was the funny thing is
it's custom DLC is technically illegal, right?
They're giving it away for free. I think it would be illegal if they sold it. It's the same with the Rock Band customs too. I think there's a loophole
right,
there.
But what I mean is like, if a record company were to discover the custom thing, they could be like, take our fucking song off.
Yeah,
and they would have to oblige. Then it's illegal.
I'm sure if they actually, you're right. I think it's more if they charge for it, there would be a much bigger target if it costs any money. I think. Well, more to my point is that there's going to be tools in the game to basically build your own charts, but upon my second watch, I realized that they said that that's for
to remap it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it again too.
What the fuck? It's like you think
here's the thing about Rocksmith. That makes sense, right? As a guitarist,
it does, but there's multiple ways to get to play the same songs. I mean, you could argue accuracy, but there are,
But as a
guitarist,
that makes sense because like and I don't mean to say that like all pompous, like as a guitarist, but like if I'm playing a riff, right, and like I'm the kind of person where my pinky isn't so strong, I could play the same note on my pinky on one string, or I could go down a string and play it with my finger.
Couldn't they do that work themselves? They have guitar players on staff. I know they do. Like, it just reads like... Because the way that I think they word it as you can, like, chart what we have permissions for, which is just like... Okay, so you think you can do it better than we can, or if there's just alternate ways? Like
I viewed it as like you can edit the song if you have an easier way to play it, and you don't have the brain power yet.
I just feel like the onus should be on them to do that.
I know, but it's a learning tool.
It is.
So it's like if you don't
it's an amazing.
If you don't have the brain power to see
tool,
that like the G chord that you're going to play is a different shape than the G chord they want you to play, you can edit it so that it shows up as the chord you know how to play.
There are people who already take that into account when they're like building stuff now.
I mean, Rocksmith takes that into account because it's
tone-based anyway.
You can play it any way. Yeah. It's the same three or 5 or 6 notes, so
yeah,
it'll still register, but I kind of get what they're going for. It also seemed to me kind of like a backdoor thing of like, that's their excuse to be like, hey, here's our tools. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
That would be great. I mean, that's cool. Like, it's just at the same time, I still have a chip on my shoulder about live service games when, like, Guitar Hero Live lasted, 3 years? And then shut down, and now it's like 90% of that music is completely inaccessible. Like...
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that's the reality that we're living in. If I want to play the game, I have to participate in it, but still. But this isn't even the biggest stuff about it. I guess the most, I'd say the biggest note of the reveal there was that it's going to work with acoustic guitars. Well, work with, I should say, guitars that have no plug-in at all.
Which Rocksmith didn't work well with the
acoustic electrics.
Yeah.
And then they're going to... I don't know if this is the way the entire game is going to function, or if this is just a bonus, but you can connect it to your phone and use your phone's microphone to register the notes, which I don't know if A, that is going to create a latency issue, and B, we talked about how, like, that might not, like, there are tons of software apps out there right now doing that same thing that have video lessons just like this is going to, and everything, and they don't always work as accurately as you'd want. Like, the real tone cable wasn't perfect, but it was certainly the best, like, alternative to that. Like, I've never used an app that worked as well as that did, and the trailer did not show any cables at all whatsoever. And I understand companies and customers are pretty averse to new hardware these days, but I feel like that kind of is like a requirement. And they don't want to make more because they're tough to find, and they're not going to do like, it's just like, all right, everybody try and dig up your ones from 2012 or 2013 or whatever.
But I wouldn't be surprised. So
if they do both, then I'm cool with it.
This very much seems like a PC only thing.
Did they not announce platforms?
I don't think so.
Ooh, I didn't even realize. That would be weird.
It might be web-based, honestly. But like,
well, if it's web-based, you could theoretically use other devices.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I have to imagine it's a Smash Ultimate situation where they're like, well, we're not going to sell any more GameCube controllers, but you have them, so it supports it, right? Like, if you have a real tone cable...
But then they did sell some GameCube controllers, and they were gone like that. Like, you know, like...
If it works with a phone microphone, okay, hear me out. In the age of streaming, I mean, we're sitting here talking into somewhat expensive microphones.
Yeah.
If it works with a phone is just a microphone, right? So, like, if you have a better microphone, you should be able to put that up to your acoustic guitar and also use that. If you have an interface, you should be able to plug your guitar into the interface and use that.
I agree, but
if you have the real tone cable, you should be able to use that because it's all a microphone input as far as Windows is concerned.
Well, you're right, but the thing is, it's like, okay, you can still play electric guitar and bass, obviously, and they said, I went on their website and the blurb is like, oh, you can also use an amp. And it's funny because their pitch is like, this is going to use way less hardware. And you're like, if I have to fucking hook up an amp, and then how are you going to balance the volume of that? Like,
for those of you out there who have never played a bass guitar, they make no noise when they're not plugged in.
Barely.
Electric guitars will also not be picked up by a phone, but you can at least hear them, especially if you have like a semi-hollow body.
Yeah.
But even if you have like an acoustic bass, it's barely audible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how this does. I did sign up for that beta. I want to know. I will say, I'm not trying to sound too down on it, because like the more robust like practice features seem great. It has like chord arrangements now and tablatures for like all of their all their tracks on their storefront, which I don't or library, because I assume it's got to include some, or is it only subscription? There's some more details are needed. And also, the trailer is very, like, Americana and folk-leaning. Like, I get, like, the acoustic guitar is what makes this the, that's the new addition from the other two.
I'm going to go on my rant again. If anybody out there listening...
But tone and effects are fucking cool.
Hold on. If anybody out there listening wants to learn the guitar, and you walk into a guitar center or you go online, people will always tell you to buy an acoustic guitar as your first guitar. They are wrong and stupid.
Yeah. I worked at a guitar center. They're wrong.
Acoustic guitars are way harder to play than electric guitars.
Yeah.
Your fingers will get calluses on either, but it'll happen way faster on an acoustic. Those steel strings are not kind, and it's harder to pick. They're easier to play chords on.
That's true.
Or not even,
well,
but
I don't,
they sound prettier playing chords on them. But
but you also learn a lot less about the hardware side of music.
Oh yeah, well, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. But anyway, we could talk about Rocksmith all fucking day. I want to see more.
I am curious.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if it works as intended, fuck yeah. I always welcome more Rocksmith in my life. I think it is it's inspiring to see people like so into it, cuz
it is such a cool game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is probably, it's funny even referring to it a game, because it is just probably the best like teaching software or educational software on guitar and bass I've personally used.
Yeah.
Even if it's more for kind of like learning parts rather than the like theory, and
it's good for the repetitive aspect of practice.
Yeah. And they have the riff repeater is back, and you can practice your scales and everything in there and all that. Then next is Riders Republic, which is a
Steep 2
with
bikes.
A first and third person extreme sports game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has a cartoonish aesthetic that sucks, because I don't know, I just think it's kind of a poor use of those bright ass colors. And it has that same annoying attitude every online game has, where it's like, because I was like, this could be really cool, right? It's not going to be a game where you can just select the sport, select a track, select a vehicle, and go. It's going to have this stupid fucking hub world that you walk around and everyone's dabbing, and it just makes me want to hang myself.
I got a bone to pick with you a little bit.
Okay.
Because you use the word cartoonish, and you're not wrong, but I want to clarify to people listening. When you say cartoonish, we're not talking like, because gaming has problems with both definitions of the word cartoonish, right? You have like the Pixar flat shaded angular
I understand
characters.
that was a vague like.
I know, and this isn't something you said, but I want to clarify because one of them, they both annoy you a lot. One of them annoys me a lot more.
Okay.
And it's like. You have the flat shaded Pixar angular face, like Fortnite, Valorant style graphics. Those don't bother me as much.
Those bother me less, but I'm not into that either.
And then you have the cartoonish, where it's like
maybe it all just bothers me equally. I can't figure it out.
everybody's got an attitude, and somebody just took the saturation knob and cranked it to 10.
Yes, that's a very
because Riders Republic is a realistic looking game. Like the character models look like people.
But like, what the fuck is going on with the? Like, it almost hurts to look at.
Chelsea pointed out it looks like New Dawn.
It does. Well, the environments look like New Dawn
because it's the same fucking engine.
No, you're right. But the thing about New Dawn that actually like worked for me in terms of its like visual design was that I liked the juxtaposition of the apocalypse, like the really realistic looking weapons and characters and stuff like that, but the world was all like nature took over, so it was all bright flowers, like in pinks and purples and blues. But it's like this game just looks like random, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's just
random.
Totally random.
I dabbed, for those of you listening.
I did see a lot of like never mind, that's gonna make me sound like an old man. I was trying to describe some of the dance fucking moves that it's just very in your face. I don't like things getting in my face. But that comes out September 2nd. And there is room in my heart for a game of that ilk, so I wanna try it. Ubisoft makes it a little harder than Microsoft does with trying things out, but
you can sign up for Ubisoft Plus.
But yeah, so that's September 2nd. Then it's on to year 6 of Rainbow Six fucking Siege. Year 6. I mean, that game's killer. They did announce that it would have crossplay, but it's like separate crossplay.
It's crossplay across consoles,
and then also across PC and streaming.
And
service.
PC and Stadia.
Luna, Stadia, and
and Luna.
And yeah, how could you forget Luna? And then Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Just man up and do the Fortnite Warzone method, okay? Make it cross-play with fucking everything. If the two most like highest profile shooters out there people can dig it, then just make it optional. You know?
Yeah, it's like
you can plug a mouse and keyboard into the console versions and obviously a controller into the PC ones. So
here's the thing about
that.
Fuck
difference does it make?
The reason they don't do it is for balance, which is horseshit.
Yeah.
Because I know you don't watch Dragon Ball Z, but for our listeners out there that watch Dragon Ball Z, it's like the scene. Randy playing Siege is like the scene when Goku trains in 1,000 times Earth's gravity. It's like he plays on PC, but he plays with a controller.
Yeah.
And he's
damn right I do.
Holds his own to the point where if he was to go on to, and we've tested this before when there was a free weekend.
Yeah.
When he goes, it's the same with Overwatch. When they're free weekends, we tried them.
Yeah.
When he goes on to the console versions of those games, he absolutely wrecks people because he's been training at 1,000 times Earth gravity against people playing on mouse and keyboard. People act like mouse and keyboard is this untouchable thing.
Yeah.
But it's like people are bad at everything. Yeah. Like, I just let people on controller play. Just be like, hey, like you can like the games. I think Warzone lets you turn crossplay off if you want.
Does.
Yeah. So give them that option, and then if they're bitches, they can turn crossplay off.
And I think we joked about this in our show before, but there's kids using fucking phones and tablets that I'm sure could destroy us with touch.
Oh, hell yeah. I've played Fortnite, okay? I've been destroyed by people on iPads. It doesn't feel good, but it's just how life works sometimes.
It is funny, though, because you think even just for accessibility, like just open the floodgates. Then there was a DLC kind of like little block here that was for Honor, the Crew 2, which I don't know who's playing that. Apparently a lot of people. And Trackmania. And that's funny with Trackmania, despite GTA 5 just adding a Trackmania mode
that's better than Trackmania. Yeah.
And then old Watch Dogs characters are coming to Legion. Everyone's favorite Aiden Pierce.
Yep.
They better not do Wrench dirty, though.
The boys are back in town, as they say.
And I guess it's Marcus was the lead character in 2. But...
Yeah, which Marcus...
No, he's a great character.
Marcus also ruled.
Watch Dogs 2 is too good to be a part of that series, I feel like.
Watch Dogs 2 had an amazing supporting cast.
It did,
I forget what the name of the hacker chick was.
Oh, I did too.
Some with an S.
Yeah.
But she was cool, too.
Yeah, and Wrench is the best.
But Wrench is the best side character possibly ever.
Yeah. And then, that's right. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are coming to Brawlhalla.
Okay.
Yep.
So now you can fight them against Jake and Finn from Adventure Time.
Yeah, I forgot there.
Mm-hmm.
That roster is weird. Ghost Recon turned 20. So they added new content for the Breakpoint. So people
they added new content for the worst one, yes.
Yeah. Then Just Dance 2022. It's not coming to Wii.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
You had a good run, buddy.
They had what is it? So there's apparently they said only 40 tracks, which doesn't seem like a lot, but they had Todd Recall, who I'm sure they regretted when he tweeted like days beforehand that slavery worked. Did you see? Oh, yeah, that was
no.
unfortunate. But and it's especially a shame because he seems to be traditionally a spokesperson for a lot of like LGBT and movements that we support, but
some people are
just don't know how to use Twitter, and
shittiness knows
no bounds.
Race.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Or gender, or sexuality, or creed.
Agreed. Fucking stupid. Idiot. But he did announce that the songs will be censored. Like
he rewrote the lyrics
as a feature. Is that like
he worked with Ubisoft to rewrite the lyrics to his song? Wonder what that was for.
Cool. I hope the lyrics weren't about slavery.
They aren't now.
Yeah. And then I think in my notes here I just have stop making Assassin's Creed Valhalla longer. There's one-handed swords. But yeah, there's going to be extra content to pad that game out through 2022. So which means not only is there no more AC this year, but probably also next year?
Nah, they'll probably do one at the end of next year.
You think?
Yeah.
So they want you to just keep playing this 100-hour plus game into the... More than that, because these DLCs apparently are also not short.
Weird.
Yeah. They did add that history mode back in again, where you can like
That's cool.
Yeah, play as a peasant, walk around. There's got to be schools out there somewhere using this. Then there's their TV section. They showed wait, is it Mystic Quest or Mythic Quest? Mythic. I forget. I guess that's a new season.
Yeah, came out recently.
Okay. You've watched it. I have not.
No, I haven't watched season 2 because I don't have Apple Plus.
That's right. It is on Apple Plus.
I got Apple.
It's weird that Ubisoft produces this. And that it's weird, but...
I got Apple Plus for 1 month so I could watch Ted Lasso and Mythic Quest, and I highly recommend everybody go watch Ted Lasso.
All right, that's your review of Mythic Quest.
Yeah, and then and then if you have Apple Plus, go to Mythic Quest, find the episode with Jake Johnson and Kristen Milotti in it, and just watch that one because it's amazing, and the rest of the show sucks.
Then there was a second trailer for the movie Werewolves Within, which looks fucking
Amazing.
great. Yeah.
Shout outs to Josh Rubin. Love that guy.
And who's the Sam? Shoot, I can't remember his name.
Sam Richardson?
Is that my?
The guy from I Think You Should Leave?
Yeah.
He's
also
hilarious. Amazing?
Yeah.
They're not babies forever. They die eventually.
And it's I do love the trailer. I think it says it's based off the VR game, the popular VR game that no one played, which is
Sam Richardson.
Sam Richardson. Right. Okay, cool. Yes. But that could very well potentially be the best video game movie. Period.
Because
it's a horror whodunit comedy. It's only barely based. Oh, by the way, I was looking up that game, like the Werewolves Within game, and obviously it takes a lot from the board game, the Hidden Roll
Ultimate Werewolf.
Ultimate Werewolf.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that Red Storm Entertainment made that.
Yeah.
Like the old Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
It's just such a Mad Libs of. Mm-hmm. It's just like even seeing like Ubisoft's logo pop up before this is funny to me.
Yeah, seeing their logo pop up before like what looks like a B horror movie.
Yeah, right.
But I am into it. We're watching that.
Me too. That comes out June 25th in theaters, July 2nd on streaming. And then there was what to me looked like an unfinished Far Cry 6 cutscene. It just seemed like it was missing some textures or like I don't know. It was not the showing I thought it was going to be for their big fucking like fall release title.
Well, I said this when we were watching it,
but it presented itself way better at Microsoft's thing, it did. Like tonally even as well.
That engine and that game have never done cutscenes outside of first person.
Right.
So
That's true.
I think it was just animations that were weird.
Okay.
And I think Andrew said this. We watched this with Andrew and Chelsea, by the way.
Yeah.
We keep saying their names.
Former
guests.
Yes.
I'm
part of the show now, but
yeah. I said this, or Andrew said this. It looks like a couple of things. The animations seem less polished because those moments in Far Cry's 3 through 5 were
all the cutscenes were in first person.
specifically rigged to be like you got locked in, and it was pretty much an in-engine cutscene, but it was
only
also
what you saw.
It was animated differently than the game, right? It was specifically animated. This looks like it was animated in-engine, not specifically to be a cutscene, and also looked like they were using some sort of dialogue system when people talked.
Yes.
Not.
You're right. Not like fully the motion capture that I'm used to.
Not motion capturing the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like. I'm actually still optimistic for this game. I liked the gameplay trailer much more, but this series does have a little bit of an identity crisis sometimes. I mean, like I think like 3 and 4 specifically, like like my favorites, but they're a playground of destruction, no mercenaries, pun intended, and then they always have these like. It's always wrapped in this very like kind of brutal sort of political or like religious bent to it, and by and large, like I think they handle like the characterization of their villains like extremely well, but I don't like what I mean. Like I guess this one doesn't use a real world location. It's Cuba, but not Cuba.
It's Mexico.
Yeah, or Mexico.
It's an archipelago off the coast of Mexico.
Okay.
So it's an island off the coast of Mexico that is not Cuba.
Gotcha.
But also, they went to Cuba and talked to Cuban revolutionaries and modeled all the architecture after Cuba.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they might still walk that we'll let the game speak for itself whether that balance is handled well. I mean, the director did say that this was
to the director who came out after Ubisoft released their PR statement. They're like, it's not political. He's like, it's political. It's about a revolution.
Yeah,
which to that guy.
Clearly 5 was political as well. But I don't know who, maybe there was some conflicting behind the scenes of how they wanted to do that story. But so then there was also. I mentioned the villains. There's like an expansion that they weren't totally clear on.
It's the season pass,
right? But
so Far Cry 5 had a season pass where you went to Vietnam and then Mars. You remember that?
No.
Okay, so they released 3 season 3.
Were those co-op
episodes?
too?
I believe so. But there was one that took place in Vietnam and one that took place on like Mars or the Moon or something.
You sure it wasn't like a movie set of Mars or the Moon?
I don't fucking know. I didn't play them.
Okay.
But, like, I mean, Far Cry 5 is a fine video game. Barely. So I did not play the DLC.
I enjoyed my time playing co-op in 5.
I know you
New
did.
Dawn is better. But Voss is in it. They brought him back.
So you play as Voss, you play as Pagan Min, and you play as Joseph.
Joseph Seed, yeah.
Yeah.
And the protagonist from 3 is also in it.
Yeah.
As the bad guy to Voss. And I guess I just wasn't sure if it was are each of those the same open world or they're just own little standalone things?
They look directed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see what it is.
I mean, I'm much more interested in playing those 3 than I am in playing a random Vietnam thing that has nothing to do with.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
And they're also remastering Blood Dragon. And along with that is getting a TV show as well.
Yes. Captain Laserhawk.
Yes, which is the guy behind Netflix's Castlevania.
Yes.
Okay. That could be neat.
Yep.
Blood Dragon at the time was dope, but like it's a bit overdone now. People like really, people love Blood Dragon, I get it, but you were saying that it worked as a like 4-hour thing, not, sometimes that
well is run dry and yet they keep pulling from it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I guess there's that Splinter Cell animated series too.
Yes.
They won't make a new game. They won't make them.
No.
Then there's only a couple left. There's the Mario and Rabbids sequel was confirmed from the leak.
The best tactics game for me, 3.
There's a Spark of Hope.
Yeah.
There's a Rosalina bunny and a Luna bunny.
Yeah, there are.
And then there's a Tony the Tiger thing.
Hell yeah.
There's a more, it looks like open world map thing. Like the combat seems, people have quoted Valkyria Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm just hoping we'll get some real co-op in this one this go around, rather than just like its own little side map. But we'll see. And then and one more thing was James Cameron's Avatar.
James Cameron's Abada.
Wait.
Remember that Schwarzenegger clip?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. What was so
Hold on,
it's
I wanna look it up.
Frontiers of Pandora. Wait.
Pandora.
Sorry.
Pandora is Borderlands. Is it Pandora? Hold on.
Unobtainium.
Avatar. Not the last Airbender, goddammit.
Also, I don't know if this game is a
Pandora.
Okay. Is this game a sequel or prequel? They did, and Ubisoft published the original that was actually just based off the movie itself, right?
Hold on.
Introducing Avada. This is Avada.
That's some YTMND ass shit.
Yeah, it is.
But then I don't. Who even knows what the fuck's going on with those other movies that are like never coming out?
It's coming out in 2023 with the game.
Is it?
Yeah.
So is the game based off the movie?
I don't know.
They've
They've both been in development for like 8 years.
I was gonna say that the OG came out 12 years ago and left kind of no real imprint on culture other than that theme park ride or place that people. I don't know. It's using the Snowdrop engine. It's made by the Division team.
Massive Entertainment.
Yeah, and
also
it's in first person.
Is it?
That's apparently.
All right.
It does.
Did you see the thing where they showed a build of the Frontiers of Pandora to Disney executives, and they were so impressed that they gave Ubisoft license to make an open world Star Wars game? So Massive's doing that after the Avatar game.
Oh, right. So that's where those rumors came from.
Yep.
Okay. I figured that was too far out to see anything from. But no shows. Well, I'm sure there's two that you can guess right off the bat.
Roller Champions.
Yeah, that is on my list, but that wasn't the ones I was
I know what
leaning
you're
at.
saying. You're gonna say Beyond Good and Evil 2, and
Yes.
you're gonna say Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we all know Beyond Good and Evil 2 was just a bit. It's not real.
It's a grift.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great. Yeah, remember that hit record thing? Are they still going to do that with like
Yeah, dude, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, dude.
Yeah, they're outsourcing all their art and music.
Yeah,
and
remember
stuff.
when they did that for Watch Dogs Legions and it worked
It worked
out really?
yeah, where the game bugged and didn't show the name of the contributing artist. Like, what the fuck were they?
You're like, hey, this song is cool. Who made it?
And
It's like
it just says
it just says Ubisoft or something.
no.
Or
It says hit record, and then under it just says like new song or something. Like, it doesn't even say the fucking
title or artist.
yeah.
Right?
It's awful. They should have gotten
I would have
sued
been
for that.
so fucking mad.
Yeah. How does that happen?
God, what a piece of shit.
I know. And then Skull and Bones, which was taking basically the systems from how many Assassin's Creeds have there been since 4?
Well, Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out when the Xbox One and PS4 came
Yeah,
out.
in 2013.
And they've done one every year but one, but they did 2 that year. So
I think the pirate fad is passing.
So that was 7 Assassin's Creeds ago. Hold on, let me do it.
All right.
Valhalla, Odyssey.
You're working backwards, guys.
I am. Origins.
Origins.
Syndicate.
It's not the first one.
Syndicate. Unity. Then Black Flag.
Yeah.
But also Rogue.
Yeah. Rogue came out the same day as Unity. So
7.
yeah, you're right. And there was also no updates apparently to Hyperscape, and no acknowledgement of workplace harassment. But not that we were expecting that.
Man,
I was expecting
what a no-show, huh?
I was expecting that about as much as more Beyond Good and Evil 2.
No, dude. What's his name? Yves Guillemot came out and he thanked his workers for putting up with so much crap over the last year. Whether that means COVID or sexual harassment, we'll never know. But
the next was this was Saturday afternoon. This was right after Ubisoft was Devolver,
yes.
who continues to be the fucking gratis gaming publisher out there of all time, and still does in my opinion, just kind of by just the favorite piece of E3 each year, you know. and this might have been my, I think the best one of theirs yet. But they did the Devolver Max Plus.
Devolver Max Pass Plus.
Max Pass Plus, which I think even in some, like on Twitch, it was framed as Devolver's Forwarder.
Yeah.
After Ubisoft Forward, which is great. But yeah, they're wonderful people, punk as fuck. It reminds me very like early Adult Swim. They retconned their past 4 conferences. If anybody's following the overarching narrative of these fucking fever dreams,
the Devolver Cinematic Universe, as they call it,
yeah,
in that presentation.
And then it's Max Pass Plus, which people were actually confused. They thought it was real.
Yeah,
you get nothing, but it allows you to buy their games at normal full price. But as far as the games they showed off. There's a Shadow Warrior 3, which is kind of like their Doom Eternal to a T. In that, I think you were saying that Shadow Warrior 2 is very Duke Nukem, and then Andrew's saying that 1 is their Doom 1, basically reskin. But it looks fun. I'm not a big Shadow Warrior guy in terms of like it's the handling of the humor, and you can make the argument that stuff with 1 and 2 is probably not age well, but seems neat.
Yeah. And
then they went back to their like. They had this like single shot sort of camera work around their pseudo, their fake office, but where I didn't realize they were making fun of Embracer Group mostly the whole time, which is great.
They just kept going in circles around the desks. Yeah.
And then the second game they showed was Trek to Yomi.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Kurosawa Mark of the Ninja type.
Yeah.
Side scroll. It seemed neat. That's
it looks cool.
2022. Then Shadow Abyss, which
Phantom Abyss.
Phantom Abyss. Sorry. If you care to explain this one, because I think you sent this to me beforehand, and it seems very cool.
It's like a first-person Indiana Jones-like game. Basically, you go into a temple, and there's a bunch of artifacts in the temple, a bunch of smaller artifacts, and then a big artifact at the end.
Yeah.
It's kind of like first-person Spelunky almost, in a weird way.
Yeah.
But
the whip especially.
Yeah. So yeah, you have a whip, and basically the whole thing is just stepping on pressure plates and shit shooting out of the walls and spike pits and rocks falling on you. And if you can make it around all the obstacles and get to the end and grab the treasure, then you have to run back through all of them and get out. And the temples are all procedurally generated, and while you're playing, all of the ghosts of all the people who tried before you are playing with you.
Yeah.
And once somebody gets the final treasure and gets it out of the temple door closes forever, and then they introduce another temple.
It's all procedurally generated.
They procedurally generate another temple, and then it goes again.
That is a great concept.
Yeah.
Like it reminds me of the Mirror's Edge trials from like that first game or something. Like it seems like a speedrunner's dream. And
I'm not one for early access.
Yeah,
but
this might work for it. Which I think the early access starts
July.
Chelsea's birthday is June
22nd.
Oh, June 22nd. I thought it was 25th. Okay.
No. So I am going to be buying that day one because I really want to try that game. It looks awesome.
Then they showed off Purple Suit. Oh, and there's a game, Wizard with a Gun.
Yeah.
Which is a great name. It looks fun. 2-player co-op. That's 2022. There was a Hades-like game called Death's Door.
That game looks awesome as well.
Yeah, that also that seemed neat.
Yeah.
I've been saying neat a lot, but there's Devolver makes neat games.
For those of
That's
you
July 20th also.
For those of you that haven't played Hades, A, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I agree.
B, isometric dungeon crawl.
I mean, Hades is coming to every platform now, so now no one has an excuse.
Yeah.
Then there was a sick fucking trailer for Inscription with a Y from the developer behind Pony Island and the Hex, the former of which you showed me and I loved. It's a card-based horror board game that is also like an escape room puzzle game. And there's even like found footage FMV. It looks like really scary and mysterious. I'm so into it. Like,
dude,
that's 2021.
You're starting to become me. You're playing roguelikes and now you're playing card games.
Sometimes that's what it takes. It's just the right one to hook me.
Pretty soon I'm going to be playing Tetris and I don't know. What other video games do you play?
No, that's it.
Okay. Pretty soon I'm going to be buying Puyo Puyo Tetris 3 for like $80 for no apparent reason.
Then they had a Tumble Time, which was another thing that like it's a mobile game, but people didn't know if it was a parody or not. because the whole thing was about how it's full of egregious microtransactions on purpose, but they're very upfront about it. They're just like, spend real money on fake money.
It's both.
Yeah.
Because you don't play mobile games. So there's a Disney mobile game. Do you know what Tsum Tsums are?
No. Are those like the
little ball
stuffed
animals?
I was going to say like the Japanese gacha. Like
They kind of are.
Okay.
So it's like they're these little ball stuffed animals, and Disney makes them, and it's like Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse, Buzz Lightyear,
Johnny Depp,
Simba from The Lion King. Yeah. Mike and Sully from Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
So they made a match 3 game.
Oh yeah,
There's not a match 3 game.
Pokemon one.
There was a Pokemon one.
Yeah.
There was also a Pop Vinyl one.
Great.
That I played. Played all these. I have a problem. But regardless.
Well, don't worry. My problem is coming up next.
Yeah. Regardless, that trailer, if you've played those games, they're terrible. They're really bad.
Yeah.
The game idea is cool, but the game's like everything they said in that trailer is spot on.
Okay.
Like the
good one.
microtransactions are egregious.
Yeah.
So it is full on parody, but also they're making the game. It's one of those things
they're like
where you're
they're like get characters you've never heard of
Yeah.
and shit like that. Yeah.
where they're doing the exact same thing. They're just honest about it.
And that's enough. Yeah.
And that's enough. I literally during that trailer, I looked on the iOS store to see if I could download it already. And then they were coming later this summer. And I was like, damn. And then I was like, wait, why? I hated that Disney game. They got me, dude.
All right. Well, here's something that gets me. Devolver is teaming up with Special Reserve Games to put out in 2022 a physical-only Switch title, never digital, called Demon Throttle. It's like a co-op vertical fantasy shooter. That's where that demon kissed my wife. From
the creators of Gato Roboto, which is also a Devolver game.
Okay, I've never played that, but I bought this instantly.
It's
well,
you play a cat in a mech suit.
I guess I shouldn't say I bought this instantly because I had to get put in a virtual queue moments before recording our episode with Andrew.
Which will be out later than this.
Yeah, which will be out later than this. And we were late to start that because of me desperately trying to
You had to wait in a queue to get a game that you don't care about just because they said it's physical only.
That's so great.
Oh, God. See,
You know how special I'm going to feel?
I have a problem, but that Disney game was free and I deleted it after 5 minutes.
I mean, I might open it. I might not.
No, you won't.
That was her whole pitch, right? They're just like, play it or just leave it on your shelf and then
just
sell it marked up to...
Pure, unadulterated honesty filtered through the lens of, Adult Swim style humor.
They literally said in the thing, they're just like they kind of invited scalpers to come get it.
Yep.
And then, this will be a nice segue into other grips, which... I mean, that game could be really cool, but you know what I'm saying. They also advertised their NFT, otherwise known to them as their non-fuckwithable tape, which was a recording on a VHS of that conference that they sold, that they only had one of for $1,000, and it went before the show was even over.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that I think it says something that they were donating the money for it, but kudos to that person.
Yep.
So what do you say we talk embarrassments next? Because it's Gearbox's time. They showed a bit of their remaster of Homeworld.
Okay.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands again. Tribes of Midgard again. Godfall is adding more endgame shit.
And it's coming to PS4.
It is coming to PS4. That's August 10th.
Which I'm sure that'll help it sell.
But you saw the ending of this, right?
I saw pictures.
Okay.
And clips.
All right. So their big finale was a very excited Randy Pitchford a former topic of the show, hanging out with a very disinterested Kevin Hart. Show it almost seemed like a cameo.
Yeah, I think I saw a GIF of him going in for a high five and Kevin Hart just
Oh,
not even paying attention.
That's just sad.
Yeah.
But Kevin Hart is going to be playing Roland for the Borderlands movie, the upcoming film, and it was mostly just awkward. I don't know, but that was Gearbox. That was it. I don't know why every company thinks that they're important enough to do one of these.
I said it,
but I still think that'll be better than the one I'm going to get into.
Well, next I got to go into Koch Media.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, round out Saturday for us. Koch Media. What'd they do?
Koch Media. Okay, so I watched this through Kinda Funny. I did not know what was happening until later that night. And it was a link to a 2-hour and 10-minute video on Kinda Funny's channel.
Man.
And Greg Miller just tweeted it and said, please do not watch this. So the conference itself was about an hour and 50 minutes long. It was all about, as you said before, Koch Media is starting a new label, a new publishing label called Prime Matter, and they're debuting it with 12 games. And they showed the same montage that they showed at the Summer Games Fest.
Right.
And then a lady who appeared to be sitting in a cubicle and trying her absolute hardest to be enthused about this was going through and Zoom calling each developer of all 12 of these games and talking to them about their game. And some of them were like out.
Wait, was this not planned beforehand?
Well, there was one of them was just a Switch port of a game. I forget, was it Crusader Kings or something like that?
Oh, I thought you said the people that you called were out. I thought.
Oh, no.
Okay, sorry. So these are games that were already released that people could just play.
No, that one was a Switch port. The rest of them are all like new IPs and then
that they didn't
Payday
have enough
and
to say
Painkiller.
yet. Okay.
But like, yeah, it was just.
Why did they stream it?
Dude, I don't know. It was so long. And like in the middle, there was one game, which I can't remember the name of, but it looked like a discount Returnal, like almost exactly. And they showed like 20 straight uninterrupted minutes of gameplay from that, which was like boring in the opposite direction because it was like not edited down enough to be interesting. And then the rest of it was all developer interviews. And I remember IGN was also doing like a little showcase thing of like indie games, and I kept Kinda Funny was doing the same thing. They kept flipping back and forth, and they would like watch like 4 indie trailers and go back, and the same interview with the same developers would still be going on because it's an hour and 50 minutes for 12 games.
That's literally longer than like the fucking like we're about to. Oh, no.
There's not much to say about them. The games seem neat.
Sure. Yeah.
I just don't want, like, if you don't have anything, that montage was enough.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything
I think
to
that's
show,
all they had.
if you don't have anything to show but a logo and a premise paragraph summary,
then maybe
don't host a 2-hour conference. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, we're moving into Sunday Fun Day. We have as it's credited, Microsoft plus Bethesda.
Yes.
Just like Mario plus Rabbids. Bethesda clearly being the Rabbids in this metaphor. Or comparison. So clear winners, in my opinion, of in terms of the conferences from E3 this year.
This was dynamite.
Yeah. They brought out the big guns, so they were actually on a real stage, which brought us back to a different era. But they let out immediately with Starfield, and people were saying it was in response to the leak, but I'm sure this was all long planned before that.
Mm-hmm.
As Starfield, as they say, 25 years in the making.
No,
I know because it's Bethesda's 25th year, but 25 years in the making sounds like
it's their first new world in 25 years. That's what they said.
Oh,
because they didn't create Fallout, they inherited Fallout, and then all they've ever made other than that is Elder Scrolls games.
What about the world of What?
That was not Bethesda.
So there's they did show off this cinematic teaser. It's very grandiose. It concluded with 11/11/22 as their
Cute.
launch date. Yeah, in cheeky reference to their 11/11/11 that Skyrim came out on. It's an Xbox exclusive. They were definitely plastered that up.
They should have put 11/11 by Dinosaur Pile Up in the trailer. Would have been good.
And also, Xbox, it says Xbox exclusive, but that also means PC, but it just didn't say that there.
No, and PS4 people are very angry.
Yeah. Well.
But they always are.
Yeah.
So.
Sony does that shit all the time, so you think all the people that played Street Fighter 4 on 360 were, like, thrilled when Street Fighter 5, like... But there... I feel like there's a lot riding on this thing. Which, let me ask you a question. There was, do you think it will just be the same sort of foundation, like the same, like the similar blueprint that they've been doing for so many years? Because it was like, they did lead with like, hey, it's running on Creation Engine 2. I know we talked engines last week for a future episode, but like clearly... Creation Engine 1 had some limitations, as many people are beginning to have a strong dislike for it. But there were, like... I was excited at the prospect. I'm into space shit, but it's like... And, and they'll... Hopefully that Microsoft money, that $7 or $8 billion or whatever it was, backing this will maybe result in a more polished experience.
No. You're
shaking your head no. But it was like, there was a later interview with Todd Howard where he just called it, flat out, Skyrim in space.
Yeah.
Like, as if... I don't want to say as if that's something to get excited for, because I'm sure that excites a lot of people. But, like, to me, I was just like, oh, what if it was, like, different or more than that? Like...
I don't know, man. Obsidian...
Those are his words, not mine.
Obsidian already made the Bethesda game in space. It's Outer Worlds,
yeah.
and it's better than their games. So, like, I don't know... Like, Skyrim in space does sound exciting if it's polished.
Yeah.
If it looks like Fallout, but I'm in a spaceship. If it looks like Fallout 4, but I'm in a spaceship, then, like, really?
I mean, this is the longest they've gone putting out a new game, like Bethesda proper.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'm saying. There's expectations here. Then they showed, which I was... actually pretty impressed by as somebody who was lukewarm in the first one, but Stalker 2.
That game looks cool.
Some really great lighting and particle effects and stuff.
Some might say.
I like that it's only in Russian. This will be another one of our,
Some might say the second best looking Chernobyl game at this conference.
Yeah, I agree. This game does look like it's kind of what I wanted out of Exodus, maybe. I mean, I love those first two Metros.
It does look like an earlier version of Metro.
Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, that first Stalker game was very ambitious, but it's, by the standards of today, pretty janky. And even when it came out, kind of janky. But it was a cool thing. And I
don't want to base my opinion solely on the demo, but that demo did not look very janky.
No, it did not.
Looked very smooth.
It looked very smooth,
animation wise.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man,
my hopes are up, and it's Game
the scope
Pass.
Through the gun.
Yeah,
which actually, I meant to say that.
Starfield
earlier,
also Game Pass.
Starfield also Game Pass.
In fact, we could just cut you off at the pass. Every game we're going to talk about is Game Pass, except for
there's 3, and I'll get to them. But they showed 20. They showed 27 games coming to Game Pass, which isn't including the graphic that they had up that had like maybe 10 more that they didn't.
Yeah, that was like Sable and Gunk.
Yeah,
the Gunk were on there.
Scorn. Yeah, so there was a bunch more. But then they Back for Blood is back, also Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
That delay pushed to October 12th. And then we have a new IP from Avalanche Studios, the Just Cause guys, and it's called Contraband, which it was just a short little blip. They didn't reveal a lot. It kind of seems Smuggler's Run-esque to me, which is I'd like to see that come back.
I'm intrigued
in some way, yeah. Then I was listening to Nextlander earlier, and they were saying, like, imagine if this is like a GTA 5 heist game, like where like the success of GTA Online, like if people are now finally be able to respond to that popularity, and like what if we made a whole game out of that? It's a little, I mean, like I'll be the first to say that that's a very hopeful and maybe presumptuous like idea, but fuck, that would kick so much ass. And then Austin, do you want to say who's coming to Sea of Thieves?
Captain Jack Sparrow and Davy Jones.
Yep, the Disney cross with it's very weird branded content for them.
Hey man,
Imagine if they like, I think it was Giant Bomb that said like, what if instead it was Secret of Monkey Island? Like that would have made a lot more sense, but I don't know. It just seems a little bit too late. Like I'm kind of surprised that audiences wouldn't be more tired of that character by now.
where's all the rum gone? Remember that?
Yeah, I do. I like that first movie, but I think it's
How long was
it's
that?
come and
How long
gone.
ago was that first movie?
I saw the other 3. I couldn't tell you anything about the 4th one. I thought the 2nd and 3rd were fine.
Weren't there 5?
Baby.
I think there were 5.
Oh God, Stranger Tides is the last one I saw. Oh yeah, there was a 5.
At World's End?
No, that's
That's
the 3rd
3.
one. I don't. Maybe there was only. I don't know. I remember. I think it's the 4th one that's a reputation for being like the most expensive fucking movie ever made, or something like that. Like it's crazy. But and then okay, so Yakuza Like a Dragon, it's coming to Game Pass, which I know you just bought a second time.
It's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Is that it?
That's the 5th one.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
So there you go.
All right.
And the first one came out in
2003? 2001? 2002?
2003.
2003. Okay. I was expecting more of a reaction for Like a Dragon. I'm just kidding. I think you've already.
That
gone
game
about
rules.
that.
I don't think I talked about it much on our
Maybe
Games
not.
Awards thing because I hadn't played it yet.
Yeah.
Game fucking rules. Game's awesome.
I've liked
You
what I've
have
seen
Game
so
Pass,
far.
you should play it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Then we have Battlefield 2042.
Not Game Pass.
100. Yeah, not Game Pass. Our first not Game Pass. This is
Yeah.
100. I assume it's on EA Play something. Maybe not. I don't know.
No, so EA Play has 2 tiers.
Right.
EA Play and EA Play
One is roped into Game
Pro.
Pass. Okay.
EA Play is included with Game Pass, which they add stuff to periodically after it's kind of
Gotcha.
had its time in the limelight. But if you want to get it on launch day and date, you have to have the Pro tier.
I see.
And that costs money.
And this is 100 years before 2142, Unforgotten, or Unforgotten. It's a bit of a cult favorite. I liked 2142 quite a bit at the time, this was also shown I think a few days prior to the event.
They showed a CG trailer, but this was the gameplay
Yes, and I mean these games are always incredible graphic showcases. In fact, there were even like you saw like the new physics, like when the tank's crushing a car, and when there's like trails in the sand from
you got a grappling
buggies
hook
and stuff. You do have a grappling hook is the MVP apparently of but it's as they said before, it's a 128 player multiplayer on next gen consoles and PC.
It's too many.
Yeah, it's 64 still on the older platforms. I appreciate their use of disasters. It seems crazy. It's like you switch attachments also on the fly. It's not as class focused as before. I'm gonna fall for it because it's a really great trailer.
It looks cool.
And I haven't really been impressed by a Battlefield in several years now.
Yeah, God, did I hate Battlefield 5.
I was not hot on that one either.
No.
And before that was 1 and then Hardline.
Hardline's great.
That's just because you're all about militarizing the cops. Right?
Yep. Back the blue or whatever. No, don't. Please don't.
No.
I'm obvious.
obvious.
If it's not coming through, I'm being sarcastic.
That is set for release October 22nd.
Also, Battlefield Hardline sucks.
Yeah, it's not a good game.
I was being sarcastic there too.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because it was Visceral. His last game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Thanks
stings.
thanks for bringing that up.
They showed more of 12 Minutes with their new cast, which
Yep.
that cast was real before with it's James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, and Will Dafoe. But it finally fucking got a date. In fact, that's our next two games are finalies because it comes August 19th.
Speaking of
this game
games
has
that
been
are
in development for a long time, but
speaking of games that are made by one guy and have been in development for 8 years.
Yeah.
12 minutes.
But and I think we probably said this on our E3 special 2 years ago. Game looks real fucking dope.
There's a Twitter interaction I saw where somebody typed 12 minutes has a release date, and they said their release date, but they accidentally wrote 12 hours instead of 12 minutes.
It comes out in 12 hours.
And no, they wrote the title as 12 hours instead of 12 minutes.
Oh,
and then
weird.
the guy who made the game responded and said, "God, no." He's like, it's taken me 8 years to make 12 minutes. Please don't make it 12 hours.
And yeah, so the one they followed this with another release date that people have been clamoring for since. But Psychonauts 2, it's coming August 25th.
Yep.
How's your fig back doing? What year was that? Did we say 2015, 2016?
2015.
Okay.
Which I think I'm getting a Steam code for it.
Okay.
So I'm just going to give the Steam code to Chelsea because it's on Game Pass.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. She'll be thrilled.
Yeah.
I mean,
that way she doesn't have to buy it, and I'd rather play it on Xbox anyway.
That's fair. Yeah.
Because I got a Steam code 6 years ago before Game Pass was a thing.
It's Double Fine, of course, before they were acquired, and maybe they had to get bought out just to get this game out the door. But hey, Psychonauts is dope, and like, I'm looking forward to seeing how this one does. We'll find out.
I am very excited. Love that first game.
Yeah. Less dope is and future topic. I'm sure Fallout 76. It's getting more content. Yeah, want to go to Pittsburgh?
No. Been there. Not great.
Yeah. Then there was some ESO shit, and
Also,
Skyrim
fuck the Penguins.
Skyrim is turning 10.
Cool.
Yep. And then there was after this there was a funny like turn into Party Animals, which comes in 2022, which is very Gang Beasts like.
Yeah.
To the point that it almost looks like it's infringing on some patents. I don't know, but Humans Fall Flat wasn't them either, and that came out after.
Yeah, and they've both kind of. The Human Fall Flat people and the Gang Beast people have both kind of come out and been like, we didn't steal from the other person. It just kind of happened that way.
All right. This is maybe
both,
a bit more
They're
egregious.
both
Cool about it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think the Gang Beast people really care too much.
Yeah, all right.
They made their money.
That's true. Then I said this earlier, but Hades coming to Xbox and PlayStation. Actually, Hades is coming to Game Pass. Just thinking of which.
Yep.
Yeah. It's fucking wild. Then Somerville, which was a pretty fresh reveal because apparently because we were saying at the time it kind of seemed like a Playdead looking game, like similar to like a Limbo or Inside, and apparently after Inside came out, one of the two people left Playdead, like one of the two founders branched off and then started their own studio, and that's what this is.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
And you're like there's a family fighting aliens, it looks like, and there's a cute dog. I want to know more about it. It seems very like kind of mysterious, and that's set for 2022.
This conference has a lot of these, but that was one of those trailers where I was just like, I'm sold. Don't show me anything else.
Exactly.
Just release it and I'll buy it.
Totally. And Austin, you know what's next? I'll give you the floor for a few minutes, but it is Halo Infinite. They showed off.
Oh my God, you guys. I have been on record on this podcast saying that it will absolutely break my heart if that game is bad, and I'm trying not to get optimistic, but fuck that multiplayer trailer.
Yeah, and free to play, which is that's bold. But it's gonna have cross-play. It's gonna have grappling hooks. The multiplayer gives me like just wonderful flashbacks to Halo 3 that seems like it's in fact there's even like we saw like the gravity hammer and shit and the Spartan laser, but it seems real fun, and it looks
That's
like
how
it
you
runs
show
smooth.
off. That's how you show off a fucking multiplayer game.
Yeah.
By the way, somebody pointed out. I was watching.
Might save the arena shooter.
Believe I was watching Kind of Funny react to it. I don't remember who said it. Might have been Kind of Funny. One of the guys at Kind of Funny. And he said that trailer obviously triggered a lot of nostalgia.
Oh yeah,
like you said, in
for
people
sure.
who played Halo. And he pointed out something to me that didn't register in my brain. Because Halo 2 and 3, but more specifically 2, was back in the early days of the internet videos and YouTube.
Yeah.
When people used to put up kill montages.
Yeah.
That's what it was like. Where like the dude throws a grenade and then it shoots the sword at him and he catches it and kills the guy.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it's like it was edited like a fucking 2004 kill montage from Halo 2.
When they grappling hook the gun.
Yeah.
That is like that's something like when I saw that I was just like I bet the Titanfall devs are like fuck, like why don't we think that's such a great idea. No, that game looks fun as hell. Very fast and fluid.
And also
and
that story trailer gave
they
me
did have a story
lot of-
trailer
Gave me a lot
as
of
well.
hope as well.
I'd like I think this showcased better than it did last year. I'd like to think this extra time has
it looks a lot better.
It does. Yeah. I actually am still sort of behind their like Halo 1
their commitment to like
art
the
direction.
old Halo
Yeah.
art direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
But maybe this just needed the extra layer of lighting and stuff like that and detail
Also,
and textures for it to.
We've railed on season passes in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about their season pass thing?
No.
Okay, so
all right, so yeah, so the
they're-
multiplayer is free, which means that, I guess it's if for whatever reason you have an Xbox and don't have Game Pass, then it would be $60 for the campaign.
Yeah.
Okay, with co-op and stuff, but I have no idea how the.
Okay, so free to play, season pass. Season passes are entirely cosmetic.
Okay.
All weapons, abilities, equipment, maps, and game modes are free.
Great. Yep.
And they're doing the typical season pass, seasons 10 to 12 weeks. You buy the season pass, you level it up.
Okay.
And then
Battle
when the next
Pass
season,
style?
when the next season starts, they come out with a new season pass. Or sorry, battle pass. Yes, that's what I meant. Battle pass. Except when season 1 ends and season 2 begins, the season 1 battle pass does not go away. So you can still.
That's my one fucking problem with
So
that stupid system.
If you join the game
That's great.
2 years later, every battle pass from start to finish will be available to buy.
Then it'll be like Call of Duty challenge.
The only limit is you can only level up one at a time. You have to pick an active one to put your experience towards.
Interesting.
But other than that, you can get all the cosmetics
That
at
is
any time.
so much less egregious than
Yes.
that's
such a good
that's how you
idea.
handle
Yes.
monetization. And it's also maybe I'll eat my words later. I think Halo has too much self-respect and dignity to do like dance emotes and like shit like that. I don't think they're gonna do it. I think they'll have the skins and sprays and whatever.
It looks like they have sprays.
Yeah.
They'll probably have like
banners like for the character profiles or something.
they might have like icons and
Icons are cool.
obviously armor.
Yeah.
They might
Armor
have
they've always had.
have weapon skins.
I'm fine with that.
And I think they're probably going to do
maybe
a
they have
thing.
assassination animations.
Assassination animations,
Okay.
yeah.
That's fine too.
Yeah. But yeah, their characters aren't going to be quirky and quippy because
Exactly.
they don't talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's so refreshing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Halo and no solid date. It did say this holiday.
Holiday 2021.
And maybe it's better on them to not like specifically give a day, but
I think with that game specifically, it
has to hit
They're
it.
going to finish it and then announce a date. Like I think
Okay.
I don't think they want to delay it.
maybe
again.
realistically that's what every fucking
They
game
should,
company should do.
yes.
But I wonder. I thought during that showing that they were going to be like the multiplayer will be out here and then the campaign maybe next year or something. But
They could also do that.
they could.
Yeah.
So then it was Diablo 2, Resurrected, I think is how they're labeling their remaster.
Yep.
And it looks sick. It's funny because it said I was hoping they would lean more in the direction of kind of what Diablo 3's console versions were. But this seems more like a tried and true kind of like to, you know,
Port.
of the original.
Yeah.
Because it also said 8-player co-op, which I was like, oh shit. But I thought like that was like, oh, like, you know, can you do like 4 people on the same screen like you can with 3 and stuff? But I think it always had 8-player co-op, but I don't know.
They didn't show any footage of 2 people on the same screen.
They did not. Yeah.
But they also didn't say it doesn't. So who knows?
Right. My fingers are crossed.
Who knows?
Or maybe the original. I thought the original was maybe only 4, but people said it was 8. But yeah, the local stuff.
But the
is
original
really
got modded to shit, so I don't even remember what Diablo 2 was at the beginning.
That's a good point. But yeah, I would love to see them bring back that more arcadey feeling, like Gauntlet style of the past Xbox One and PS4 versions and stuff, and then Switch even. But then there was, and this was a bit unexpected to me, that a Plague's Tale got a sequel. It's a Requiem. I think the first one was Innocence.
Yes, and they also announced today. So
this is 2022.
To give you a little hint, Randy didn't watch this, but I did. So Microsoft did the right thing. All you game publishers out there listening, they did their quickly paced trailer conference on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then they did an extended showcase today. That was where the developer interviews and shit were.
Gotcha. All right.
So when they talked about Plague Tale Requiem, they also announced Plague Tale Innocence is getting an Xbox Series X upgrade.
Oh, sick.
In July.
Nice.
So
that's cool. Although I feel like, you know, Eternal Darkness owns that word. Requiem's theirs.
Requiem for a Dream owns that word.
that's in the movie space. It's different. But they, I never got to play that first one, which it is on Game Pass. But maybe I'll wait for that.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, because people have said, like, I think that was even nominated the year it came out for narrative and stuff. But it seems very depressing. But it's also supposedly very, very good as far as like adventure.
As depressing things often are.
Yeah, yeah. And those games are like I think they're obviously much more story driven, but also like other than the puzzle elements, like I think there is some combat and stuff. Like they're they're full games that I guess it's cool that they connected with enough people for them to be able to make a sequel. I think it's still the brother and sister. They're older, but then there was a much better Far Cry 6 trailer than Ubisoft's own fucking...
Because this was the gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
It was the same thing with Battlefield. They did the CG trailer at their own thing.
I know, but I think it's just...
And then the gameplay at Microsoft.
It's just funny that it's like, tune into Microsoft if you actually want to get what you know.
Far Cry 6 looks dope.
Yeah. And then... I can already hear Chelsea screaming from here, but Slime Rancher 2? Mm-hmm. The Squishums getting a sequel? Maybe there was a date in that and I forgot, or in early access, but then it was Shredders, our second extreme sport, though this is a snowboarding game. It was funny because initially we were just like, oh shit, is it a new SSX? Is it a new Amped? But it seems kind of more simmy. Yeah. Like it could feel like Skater XL. Mm-hmm. The one thing I did like is that I don't know if you realize the ending of the trailer said, we have a good feeling about December for the release date, which is
pretty good.
And then this shocked me. I was very surprised to see that Atomic Heart is back, a game that I was following years ago that seemingly disappeared.
Yes.
It looks weird as all fuck. No date, but I'm real into what they're doing.
Yep.
They had like Russian dance music on top with this like, I don't even know how to describe the world. Like it is
the best Chernobyl game at the conference.
Yeah, like and it's taking influence from all these different things, like retro sci-fi, but it like, but also, you know, like a very avant-garde, like different art style, like, you know what I mean? Like it's I can't even, it's tough, but I think its influences do pull from, or its inspirations from several different like probably if I was a more cultured person, sculptors and painters and stuff out there. But very neat.
Very cool looking.
Enemy design and stuff. Yeah, I'm looking for, and that's Game Pass as well. And, we met Diablo 2 was not Game Pass. That was our second. Which I guess we should know is Activision Blizzard. But then speaking of like fucking like, man, the Relocated.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Which just like incredible visual. Like it's pixel art but with very modern lighting.
Yeah.
It was funny
got that diorama pixel art.
Yeah, with like depth of field stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand like that's probably grown in a lot of popularity since Octopath, but they look like they're doing it well. And
Yes.
see, it's like a side scroller action game. It's at first we thought it might have been The Last Night because it has that kind of like cyberpunk sort of setting, but it was not. Last Night was replaced by replaced. I've forgotten the name of. In fact, I even wrote this down as Relocated by accident because it's not the most memorable title. I think they should maybe, for a game that stuck out to a lot of people. This is not the first account of like folks being like, "What was it?
Yeah.
What was that called again?" But we know many people that I think will be into that one, so we'll keep an eye out. And there was also a Polybius cameo in the trailer. I don't know if you caught that. There's a fight. There's a fight in an arcade, and there's a Polybius cabinet next to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, shout out to our old episode. That's 2022, and then there was another look at. This is out now, but Grounded.
Yeah.
They're adding like achievements and stuff. And maybe is it going 1.0? Is that maybe there? Because I know that was early access.
I don't know.
And then this is where that they made it more explicit about the Among Us thing with them having 15 players, and I think there's weapons as well now. I don't know. And then see if I can pronounce this right. Eiyuden Chronicles. I gotta have one of these here, right? Like to attract the JRPG crowd. There's 2 games. One coming this year, and I think one in 2023, which doesn't even seem like a real time.
But that's the Suikoden spiritual successor?
Yes. Yeah. Which, speaking of Octopath's art style there. Hey. Still excited for The Ascent. It's coming in July. They showed, I think, one last look at that. And that we know is local co-op. So I'm looking forward to sitting on a couch with you and a couple friends of ours and going through that. This might be a controversial opinion here, but Age of Empires 4 was shown, and I didn't think it looked great. I don't know. There's just something about its jump from 2D to 3D that reminded me of like what I found so off-putting with Roller Coaster Tycoon's jump from 2D to 3D. Even though that wasn't the same guy the third time, but I like to be proven wrong because I grew up playing a lot of 2 and stuff. But
it's a shame.
They got to win people back.
It doesn't look bad necessarily. It's just like between the last Age of Empires and this one, so many people have made those games.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you think about...
Well, that's what we talked about with... I mean, we'll get into it with Nintendo's thing, but also with, like, the Left 4 Dead stuff, too, you know?
Yeah, sure.
But,
like, you think about, like...
They're the Total War crowd is probably, like...
As opposed to, like, Civ, which has a very distinct art style, this doesn't. And I think that's its problem. It looks... Yeah. It doesn't look bad. It looks generic.
You're right. And it shouldn't be. It's Age of Empires. Like, that holds significance.
Yes.
Like, you know... That's a good way of putting it. You know, it's maybe that time of my life is over, or maybe they'll bring me back, but I'm not holding out too much hope. There's this fucking meta-ass Outer Worlds 2.
That was great.
Just calling out every other
we don't have to explain the whole thing. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Because if you're into E3 at all... God, is it so on the nose?
Yeah. I guess we just shouldn't spoil the jokes. But,
yeah.
But check it out. And man, Obsidian has their hands full. They're working on a lot of stuff right now.
3 games?
Yeah. And none of them small, you know?
Yeah.
Microsoft Flight Sim is coming to console finally on the Series X. It's probably the only one of theirs powerful enough. Yeah, because it's that game is pushing tech to the limits with its use of the map.
Yep, and
everything.
Top Gun's coming to.
Yes, Top Gun DLC for free, which I don't even know what happened to that movie. Is it Maverick?
Yeah,
Does that mean there's going to be like fighting in the DLC or just flying jets?
you just fly jets, I
Alright.
think.
I
I don't
mean-
think they have the systems for shooting.
That would be very. I'd be into it at that point. But no, Microsoft Flight Sim is a really kind of amazing piece of work that I.
Download it and fly planes into your friends' houses. 'Cause that's
Yeah.
what I did.
Yep. I did see that they also are putting out one of those, like, all the Series X is getting support for all the controllers.
Yes.
So, which is
HOTAS.
bring back Steel Battalion.
Hell yeah.
Then we're getting close to the end here. But it's Forza Horizon 5, not Forza Motorsport 7,
Yeah.
because they usually switch off,
Yeah.
and the last one was 4, and now they're coming right here.
Although technically they also do it yearly, so technically this is on pace.
Okay, because they
Because
didn't do
4
any
was
last year.
2019,
Okay, and this
and they
is
didn't do one last year.
and this looks like a much more respectful and like drug and crime free version of Mexico that they're going to. I think that's where it takes place.
Yeah, it's in Mexico.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I think it was Danny O'Dwyer was saying that it was like, oh, it's kind of nice to see that country represented differently, like in a more
Yeah.
positive way, because we just forever
Oh,
associate it
man.
here with.
Did they take care in representing that? Remember that demo? They were just like, look at the cactus needles.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to. They just like drove up to a building and like stopped outside
Well,
of it.
that
And they're like, look at this architecture. I was like, it's beautiful.
I know,
like,
but that's-
why do I care?
I know. So it's like Forza trailers also sometimes do a good job of tricking me, but I said this when we were watching it, but stop with all the supercars, like that wish fulfillment. It's not. I like and the open world. Like, I mean, we've already bitched. I even think on here before about how the licensing has fucked every car game forever, which is why our arcade racers are dead, and it's
That's
only
why
Sims
Burnout
now.
3 is the best racing game of all time.
Yeah, I love how this is gonna come up again in a week too. But
Yeah.
all hail Burnout 3 and F-Zero GX, but for a
Nope.
different reason.
Just Burnout.
But yeah, just make vehicles crash again. Come
That's
on.
what I'm saying.
I know, exactly. Just stop. And that's the other thing too is like, and we were talking to a buddy of ours who's a mechanic, that apparently there's also a lot of push from companies to like, hey, we want our cars to be faster and better than these other cars in a game that our competitors are
Yeah.
make, and then we don't want this company in here at all, like, but we want, like, they're shitty, and it's ruining this, and we need to stop giving into it.
But it also like doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Because
matter.
you never get
Yeah.
to top speed in Forza. There's
Yeah.
too many turns.
I mean, you're also racing like helicopters and shit. Like, who cares?
Whereas Burnout, did you know Burnout has a brake button? Because I didn't.
Why would you? Yeah, and
It has a boost button, which you always have to be holding
but
constantly.
all this safety shit. I'm gonna check someone into a wall and have them blow
Yeah,
up, and
exactly.
then Jimmy World's playing in the background or something. Like,
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
and then
Put yellow card in Forza.
might who knows?
Yeah.
So now we have their Microsoft's and one more thing. Like, Phil Spencer came out, and then they ended on I guess. Sorry, forgive me if I'm. Arcane was split off into 2 studios.
Yes.
And
So Dishonored 2.
was made. Is this made the game that I'm about to say made by the people that made Dishonored 1 and
2.
Prey? Dishonored 2.
So Dishonored 1 was made first. That was Arcane's first game.
Okay.
Then they formed Arcane Austin, and
Right.
Arcane Leon is the other one. So Arcane Leon made Prey, Arcane Austin made Dishonored 2,
And this is Austin.
and then
again?
Arcane Leon is doing Deathloop,
Deathloop,
and Arcane
yes.
Austin is
God,
doing
don't forget about Deathloop. I really want to play that.
Redfall.
Yes. In the most Stranger Things fucking fought.
Uh-huh.
People were, I think, hotter on this trailer than I was. It's Left 4 Dead, but open world, first person shooting, but probably an emphasis on stealth if it's Arcane. I also think the name is a bit,
Yeah.
it could have been more creative. And it's very jokey, very quippy. And it was kind of a long trailer for something without gameplay. But
Sure.
it's vampires, or you're fighting vampires. I don't know. Anything more you want to say about it?
Potentially, a Left 4 Dead where you have Dishonored powers is cool.
Yeah,
But I haven't
you're right.
seen enough.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? The third game, because this is also Game Pass. But the third game was Far Cry. Duh.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Wait, so what were the 3? Battlefield, Far Cry, and what else?
Diablo.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. And then actually, you know what? The real celebration, the thing that we should be pedestaling wasn't. It's not. It was. Do you remember what they? It was like the stream was still going on, but the show was technically over. But then it was the reveal of the Xbox mini fridge.
Yeah.
That is not a bit, but it modeled from the Series X that everyone said looked like a fridge and it does.
Capitalism, bringing memes to life. Love it.
So before we get into Squeenix, we did mention the Gunkscorn and Sable are all coming to Game Pass, along with Hello Neighbor 2, Anacrusis, that game that was at the Summer Games Fest, and then there's Argami, which I'm not sure, and then D&D Dark Alliance.
Okay.
That's Game Pass. But yeah, we had by the end, like, just some extra little notes here. There was no Indiana Jones thing from Machine Games. It's probably too early. Avowed, Everwild, which is rare, right?
Which has apparently been rebooted from scratch and will now come out in 2024. Yeah.
God. I was probably most surprised by Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
Because that was the first game ever revealed with the... That's on our Game Awards episode from 2 years ago.
Which is good. It means they're taking their time with it.
Yeah, and they
'cause
should be. It's
Hellblade 1, I don't like as much as a lot of people.
I respect it more
I do.
than
I respect
yeah.
it. It's very cool, and I've tried to beat it 4 times. I just can't. It's just too...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not that I was expecting it, but of all the games out there, the one that I think I most want info on is Perfect Dark. Whatever that ends up being by their new company. And then same with they showed. I think that was at the Game Awards along with Fable, which that's a ways out. It's weird. There were actually like a few things from this Series X and S kind of like announcement that never reappeared, like that Crossfire X campaign that Respawn is supposedly handling, and then that Bright Memory Infinite game that was made by the one guy. I mean, like the Bethesda stuff, like, Elder Scrolls 6, obviously, who the fuck knows, but it's like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo are coming this year, but they're PlayStation focused, so it's like, I did see people tweeting that they were like, they thought they would be here, and it's like, no, they still have to, adhere to those contracts. I mean, they will come to Xbox eventually and PC and stuff, but for now, I mean, I think they look really interesting. Deathloop was already supposed to be out by now, but yeah, into going through Sunday, Square Enix's time to, I don't want to say shine, but they were so their direct style presentation was hosted by none other than McCree, the Matt Mercer.
Yep.
And they led with which was this leaked or the Guardians of the Galaxy?
It was announced.
It was formally. I wasn't sure if it was.
It might have been a leak. People have known that they were working on a Guardians game for a while.
Okay.
It might have been a leak.
And it appears it might be or like it seems that maybe there's some assets being like from the Avengers game that are coming into this, and
yeah.
they're able to get it like and it is scaled down a bit. It is they were very quick to say that it is not multiplayer focused or a live game. It is a single player campaign. You can only play as Star-Lord.
Yes.
It looks like you are maybe controlling a team, almost like Final Fantasy style or something, like you're commanding your squad.
Yeah, you issue commands.
Yeah. And there are the one thing I do like that there are choice-based options. It looks like in the story. It's like a Telltale stuff pops up between your combat encounters. I don't know. I feel we talked about this before, but it's like it seems like it's too close to the film in some ways and not close enough in other ways. Like like tonally and like the design of the costumes and character stuff. Like you were saying, like they look like they do in the comics, especially like Gamora and stuff. But apparently, and I spoke to my roommate about this, but the use of like licensed music that we mentioned earlier, with that will absolutely totally not get flagged on Twitch and fuck over every streamer who wants to play this game. But like that's an invention of the movie, like the cassette tape thing.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, I understand why you'd want to use that because that's what people know as Guardians, but it's like this middle ground is just, I don't know. It's tough for my head to like separate those actors from like these characters.
Sure.
But and I'm a bit over the celebration of 80s nostalgia, but I like Guardians as a concept, and I enjoyed that first movie. We'll see if that banter rings through and
the
stuff.
The game looks cool. It looks very Tomb Raider.
Yes, which I'm a big fan of those new Tomb Raiders. So.
And it's the studio that made Shadow the Tomb Raider, so.
Yeah, and Shadow's a good one.
Yeah.
I think the second one is still the best.
Yes, Rise of the Tomb Raider is still the best one. But.
Yeah. But that, and the another neat thing, this is coming October 26th this year. So then after that, it went into the Final Fantasy 1 through 6, which they said are pixel remakes. Same with that Legend of Mana collection. They're coming to Steam and mobile platforms, which I don't know if that's new or not, because these games have been remade and ported so many times.
Who the fuck knows?
Yeah. And then it's a Marvel sandwich with more Avengers. Black Panther is coming, but still no word on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Not that I have a horse in this race, but like, dude,
Yeah.
like that was like the advertisement. Like, do you think Sony is kind of feels some way about that partnership? Like,
maybe.
Yeah, that's.
They also announced Ant-Man for that game. He was the first character they announced.
Where's Ant-Man?
He's not in it.
That's got to be really hard to make. Is he going to be able to grow and shrink like Ant-Man can? Like that's, yeah. At least this Guardians game will probably be much more centered around their like actual abilities. Like you know, it'll make way more sense because the entire experience is crafted for Star-Lord. But then IO Interactive's Hitman Sniper mobile game, The Shadow?
Hitman Sniper 2.
Okay, which is hilarious because did you know in the trailer they say following Agent 47's disappearance?
Yeah.
That can't make me not think of the. Should we explain that? Do you want to explain that for just a second?
I mean, it's a spoiler.
Oh no, I was talking about the I wasn't actually talking about the in-game lore. I was talking about the Square Enix. Who published the second one? Was it Warner? I don't remember. Who the fuck owns Hitman now?
Yeah, Warner published 2. Square published 1.
Yeah.
And then IO self-published 3.
Okay. But this is published by Square Enix. I don't know if there's just like a holdout on like the handheld stuff is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they have like mobile rights because they did Hitman Go.
Yeah,
and
Go.
Hitman Sniper 1 when they were publishing Hitman 1.
Okay. Got it. This gets confusing.
Yeah.
Near Reincarnation on mobile. Brave Exvius is getting more characters. That's still a thing, apparently. Don't get too excited, Austin, but the Final Fantasy VII shooter battle royale. It just says coming 2021.
I would be excited for that if it was on consoles.
Yeah, I would too. I agree.
Yeah.
Which they should do that at some point. But that was announced a bit ago, but it's still just seeing it is just strange. Then there was Babylon's Fall from Platinum. I don't know which Platinum now because there's kind of there's sort of sub companies within Platinum that like have different tiers of quality.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some like cool environmental art with their kind of like oil painting, but I don't know.
I like Platinum. I like most of Platinum stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very into Babylon's Fall when they first showed it off a couple of years ago.
Is that how long it's been?
Yeah.
Oh.
Might have been last year. But
Hard to
either
tell
way,
these days.
it's a live service game.
What?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
No.
It's Destiny.
Oh, I think I
You
can.
remember? I just went, fuck!
Oh, yes.
And I said,
Okay.
you already did this twice and it didn't work out either time. Why are you
Right.
doing it a third time?
Yeah. So it's like the opposite of like Guardians that you would have, expected that to be. What did they learn?
And I was not alone in that thought process. A lot of people were very upset to hear that Platinum is making a live service game.
Yeah.
Because that is not what people want out of Platinum's games.
It's not what they've built their reputation from either. I'm sure it will, when it releases and inevitably Platinum fans don't react to it the way that they want, we'll go back. Next, I in my list here, it just says, Life is Strange 1 doesn't need a remaster. And I know we discussed this at length as well, but if anything, I think the engine switch, like, it sharpens the textures, like, it makes them appear less blurry, like, what the work that they're doing, but it does also remove elements of the OG's kind of, like, pastel, like, art style. Like, I'm just, like, I don't know, and they do the thing in the fucking trailer where they have the line go back and forth, and you're, like, squinting to be like, what do they do? Oh, and, like, I think a friend of ours, she said, like, you can see the makeup better on one of the characters.
Yeah.
Or the tears in their eyes.
Better.
Yeah, but it's like,
It's a different,
by and large,
it's a different lighting engine, and it does, I said this before, and it'll come up again, it does look better, but when you take something that was designed stylistically, not realistically,
yeah.
and then you add realistic lighting to it, it makes it look worse.
Yeah. Because what was that other game you showed us?
Judgment.
Judgment. Well, yeah. That seemed night and day as well, where it was just kind of like, they're taking the wrong liberties.
Like, it doesn't look worse.
And Life is Strange 1 isn't that old. Like, you can play it practically for free now.
Yeah.
Like,
It doesn't look worse.
$40, and it's I should say it's one end before the storm, but
And it doesn't look better. It just looks different,
yeah.
but not in a way that feels necessary to remaster it.
Yeah, I keep saying this, but I think, well, I'll get into it in a second, because they also showed off Life is Strange True Colors, featuring, quote, the psychic power of empathy. I had to write that down.
Is that tweet I posted in our Discord?
No, which one was it?
It just said, empathy is a supernatural power to gamers or
Yeah.
something. I was like, that's so good.
And it's funny because all the so this game was revealed before, but they showed a bit more of it this time, and it's like all the scenes they show, it's just like it's like the main character doesn't have the ability to read the room, because it shows people who are like really upset or angry or like sad, and it's just like, oh, you can gain insight into what they're feeling, and it's just like, all right, I mean, I would have gotten that without it. Like, I don't know. Nothing will be as good as the, as the time rewind mechanic. Like, it plays into a narrative, like what you want from a choice-based story game, like, so well. And I hope this entry it works for me. And I didn't even finish Life is Strange 2 or tell me why, but I think me and you were saying that it's like I actually have probably more faith in Deck 9 right now than than Don't Nod proper. But it's like, I don't know. I'm nervous. We'll see. They lean a little bit too precious and melancholy now, and I don't know if any of them will ever feel as special or as raw to me as that first one did years ago. But that's and will it propose the same themes as Life is Strange 1 did, with calling into question the morality of manipulating people? And you just flat out said, like,
no.
Yeah, because it's like the lead character in this game, she has the ability to, like, essentially read minds.
Yeah.
Which is like, there is a kind of a discomfort to that. Like, like that it's like this game just, and maybe I'll be wrong, but one of my favorite scenes in Life is Strange 1 that nobody fucking talks about is sort of addressing the responsibility of that power, of the rewind power. And it's like, whenever they show, like, even in the remaster of all the montage of the first game, it's like, it's all of the, like, the, you know what I mean? Like, it's what the, fans are stupid. Don't keep giving them what they want. Like, experiment. Do, like, you know, like, it's, but we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, and it's funny because that True Colors is also a full-priced game, and it's still episodic, but it's all at once, which they learn their lessons from 2, and that's just kind of not how people, like, are into those experiences anymore.
Yeah.
Which it's like, you know, I love 1, but there was quite a bit of time in between. But it's like, it's funny seeing Life is Strange sold now as a $90 package. Like, you know, like the way a Far Cry is, or a Battlefield. It's just like, just relax, take it down a bit. Like, this used to be like the little game that could, and now it's like this Square Enix powerhouse. Like, it's...
yeah, we got 3 things. A Marvel game, and then the high school game with the powers.
Well, there's still one more. How do you feel about the word chaos?
I love Sonic.
Would you say that you, like, on a scale of 7 to 8? Because I don't remember how many times they say it in this fucking
7.
video. Is it 7? But we have Team Ninja's Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. Origin. This is coming 2022. It is their Souls-like in the universe of FF1, which I should say, this is how they closed out their conference.
Yep.
They did not show anything more of Final Fantasy 16 or Forspoken, but the big thing was that they said, like, hey, like, this game is coming out next year, but we got a demo out. It said demo available soon, but it actually was like that day. And then I heard you tried to download and play it, but what happened?
So apparently they uploaded a corrupted version of the file to the PlayStation Store, which took 2 days to fix.
Oy.
So, which is fine. It's E3
Yeah,
time.
I mean,
they're all busy.
I get it. I mean, did they extend how long you could play it?
I don't know.
Okay. But you did eventually get to...
Yes, I played it last night.
Yeah. What did you think?
It's weird.
I've heard a lot of people say that they are into the mechanics of it, but are not so much the vibe. That makes sense.
The vibe is terrible.
Yeah, like...
Lead character kind of looks like Eminem in the early 2000s.
I've seen that trail around as well.
It's strange because Final Fantasy is so cool, or can be so cool, I should say. And it's like, so we talked about it before, like 15 has a very, very cool aesthetic.
Yeah.
7 has an amazing aesthetic.
Agreed.
Right? 16 looks really cool. Mm-hmm. And 16 is like old-timey.
It's like medieval.
Yeah, 13 had a cool aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But it's just like, it's Final Fantasy, but somebody tried to make it Dark Souls. Remember we had the conversation about Elden Ring and how it's like that like gothic-y sort of fantasy setting has been done to death, kind of.
Yeah.
And so Elden Ring is kind of like diminishing returns.
Yeah.
I think that Final Fantasy game kind of proves that, like, that's what happens when you go, hey, make Dark Souls to someone who isn't Miyazaki. Because it's like...
That's a good...
It's half Final Fantasy and half Dark Souls. It's the Neo team.
Yes.
But it doesn't play exactly like Neo. So it plays kind of like... They flashied up the animations, because Dark Souls has good animations, or I guess just to say FromSoft Souls games have good animations, but the animations are very deliberate in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
They're very weighty for a reason.
Yeah.
And they took that weightiness out of it and what they put in its place was
Is it
something
more character action-y? Or?
more akin to a character action game, like a Platinum game.
Okay.
So you're sitting there and you're hitting people with this sword, and you're flipping around and you're doing flips in the air and slamming down on people. So it's that, right? But it's like the block button, and I know I'm wrong, but the block button in a Devil May Cry style character action game is like the break button in Burnout. I don't know what it is, don't ask me, because I never use it, right?
Yeah.
But the block button in Dark Souls is essential to survival.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's like it plays kind of like a Devil May Cry like game.
But not as
if every
fun.
time you got hit, you lost a third of your health bar because it's a Dark Souls game.
Oh, jeez.
And it's just like...
Man without a country right now.
Yeah. And also the graphics suck. And the characters are so fucking lame. And they say chaos way more in the game than they did in the trailer.
Yeah. I mean, I know I was bitching about how, like, sometimes the cast of, like, the Life is Strange stuff can be a little bit too, like, saccharine, but there's still like a depth there. Like, there's... And it's just... I don't think you're going to see that characterization in the...
It's like in Dark Souls, when you do a killing animation, like a backstab in Dark Souls or something.
Yeah.
Like one of the cool things that's really hard to pull off. It's cool because he like shoves the sword in and then puts his foot on the guy and slides the sword out, and then the guy kind of like lumps over. It's so meaty, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a good way of putting it. There is something to that, the weight of that in like that Demon Souls like remake that stands out
and
to me.
This has that.
Even the way like the audio is mixed and.
This has the system from Sekiro where, and Ghost of Tsushima used this, and Neo 2 used this as well, where everybody has like a break gauge, so you can, if you block too much, it'll build up a gauge, and essentially your character will get stunned when that gauge fills. And like in this game, when you break somebody, you go up to them and you hit circle and you punch into their stomach and turn them into these red crystals, and then punch them with your other hand and the crystals shatter and it refills your magic bar. And it's like, dude, what do you want to be? Do you want to be Devil May Cry or do you want to be Dark Souls? Because they're two very different games.
They want to be whatever makes money. Whatever help like the fans are. Well, they got some time left, so see where it goes. Up next was Warner Brothers, and they were very quick to put out to the word prior that it was only going to be Back for Blood. This is on Monday also. We're jumping ahead the next day. So that means no Harry Potter game, no new NetherRealm fighter. Disappointingly. I didn't watch this. I already played Back for Blood. I already want to get it.
It was all PvP stuff. I watched it.
Oh, okay.
It was all about the PvP, which is cool, but
sure.
You know.
That's I don't think that's what I'm probably going to come to that
same.
before, but then it was the PC gaming show, which so there's two things. The framing of this was so fucking dorky and awkward. It was like a Star Trek parody with Day 9 and a couple other people.
Mika Burton.
Yeah, and they would just like, it would be like them green screen in a spaceship pointing out how there was like trailers for stuff over the horizon, and
it was real lame.
Yeah, it did it's not doing anything for me. So there are, I think they showed 50 games in total. In the interest of time, should I just kind of like
trim that list down.
Let's see if I can. I mean, there are a couple that stood out to me personally, but other than that, I could do rapid fire. Want me to do rapid fire?
Sure. Wait, all 50?
Yeah. How fast can I go?
Go ahead.
All right, let's see. And also not a lot of definitive release dates.
This is not very rapid fire.
You're right.
You're taking way too long.
Nakara Blade Point Battle Royale. That's an open beta on Steam and Epic. Dodgeball Academia, it's an RPG. There's more Chivalry 2, a game called Raw Man that looked like Splatoon with food. It's like an arena brawler. They had a behind-the-scenes catch-up thing on Dying Light 2, Humankind. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Humankind.
Yeah, I think there's a closed beta coming to that. There was a 2D sci-fi platformer called They Always Run. Then Orcs Must Die 3. That's the Stadia exclusivity's over. So that's coming, I think, to everything else. Or PC at least. Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song.
Mm-hmm.
That's their third-person narrative game. Anything but finishing that actual thing. Gigabash, which is like a Destroy All Monsters Melee, the game, the Godzilla GameCube game. Someone out there besides me must be nostalgic for it because the it's very much channeling that same energy. Then a game called Lemnis Gate. It's like a time-bending strategy shooter where you're stuck in a loop. Next, Space Rebels. It's like Kerbal, but with FMV. So we got War Tales, an open-world, turn-based medieval RPG. Ixion Space Game had a CGI trailer. Far, Changing Tides, a 3D exploration sequel, traversing a lot of water. Lakeburg Legacies, a village management sim. Killing Floor 2 is going to space with DLC. There's Silt, monochromic underwater puzzle game. Hello Neighbor 2. So dev update again. For Jurassic World Evolution 2. There's like a new mode that's apparently from the old movies. As I said, all you need is the first one. There was a montage, which I'm gonna stop here because there's a game called Falling Aces that looks like really striking. It's an all hand-drawn noir FPS with gangsters, which you said there's some misinformation about this out there.
Yeah. There was supposed to be a demo, but they had to pull it.
Yeah.
And then Valve advertised it anyway.
Yeah. Ultra Kill still looks cool. I almost said kill. Other stuff in here was a game called Medieval. The Black Labyrinth, Unfortunate Spaceman, Dusk 82, Kyle is Completely Famous, Fate, The Unholy Trilogy, Gloomwood, Dusk. Then they cut to Gabe Newell, who's still hiding out in New Zealand. He introduced Steam Next Fest, which is where the demo of Fallen Aces was, I think, supposed to be. There was also demos for Undead Citadel, Rogue Lords, and Grime. Then there's Solstice, a Japanese fantasy Souls-like. Chaos Gate Demon Hunters, which is a turn-based tactical Warhammer game. Pioneer with one E. It's like a Stalker or Metro-like with the modern Pip-Boy. It's kind of gritty and supernatural looking. They add that to our Russian list. Then our Chernobyl mark on the board, or Chernobyl thing.
Yeah, well, I'll add a tally mark.
Which it was just funny because I think people thought this was a co-op thing, which would make it be its own thing from its contemporaries, but then it turns out it might be an MMO apparently. Yeah. Okay. They're adding career paths to make the onboarding process for easier in EVE Online.
Okay.
So a throwback or an old episode. Lumberhill, described from PC Gamer as a little slice of life game. It's like, and then Arborea, a dark fantasy rogue light, not roguelike. Tinykin, this cute puzzle adventure title. Chernobylite.
Right.
Yep. Mark the board. It's a survival game with base building. Sacrifier, an RPG with a blend of real time and turn based combat.
Are we up to 5 Chernobyl games?
I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Icarus, a sci-fi survival sim from New Zealand with building progression. Mecha Jammer, which is an action RPG with team management. The Wandering Village, I think you've probably seen that before. A fantasy city planner on the back of a giant creature, like walks. Death Trash, twin stick shooter, which seems could be neat. Songs of Conquest, a tactical game with more high contrast pixel art, a la Octopath Traveler. We need a separate board for that. A Citizen Sleeper, it's a tabletop with the narrative focused dice rolls. Project Warlock, it's like a retro shooter. It's hitting Kickstarter. And that's all.
Oof. That took you 10 minutes?
That was 10 minutes?
I think so.
Man. The next is it's the Future Game Show, which I don't even know what the fucking difference is between these anymore. What does that mean? Like, I'm happy it was hosted by Troy Baker and Laura Bailey, who are just the loveliest people, but like, what does Future Game Show mean?
They're in the future.
It's all these games.
Yeah.
A lot of this, I mean, I don't even know if I want to read these off.
Please don't.
All right, do we not want to do that again?
I'm tired from the last time you did that.
All right, check out at least to hear their voices. Check out.
Do you have any highlights?
I do. I have one, but this game was, I think, shown off before. But it's Harold Halibut.
Okay, yeah.
The fully stop motion story game with like they use real miniatures and stuff. It's very Wes Anderson kind of in its presentation. But I'm super excited to see more of that. Know what it is.
Yeah.
But I think it might be like it's all like it looks like it switches from 2D to 3D and it's like side scrolling up, but I love adventure games that really form their own identity, and this one is I think when this first trailer came out a bit ago, it caught the attention of a lot of people, myself included. Then it was, I guess you could say, Take-Two did something, but from what I looked up, it said that they showed no games at all.
It was a diversity panel.
Oh. Because not that I think anybody was like tuning in and being like, where's GTA 6 and Bioshock 4, but...
It was interesting to listen to, but it was not. It was more like a PAX panel than something that would happen at E3.
Just Take-Two holds a lot of, like...
Yeah. It's just like,
That's
LGBTQ and POC representation.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's funny that they're the ones behind that. I think they would have marketed this a little differently.
Yeah.
Because the subject matter, like, that wasn't made clear to me from when I saw their initial, like, the I guess...
Schedule?
Yeah. Because I think, they put that out.
Yeah.
Officially, but... and for the record, we're not covering the Intellivision and Razer and fucking, I think, Verizon.
Did you know that 5G is good for gamers? Because I do now. Oh my God. Okay, we don't have to talk about this for long, but oh my God. So there's a game coming out, and it's tied to a line of pop vinyl ripoffs, right?
Right.
And I watched this conference. If you, like me, absolutely hate cryptocurrency and NFTs and all that stuff.
I do. And I also hate pop vinyls. So.
Well, I know you do. I'm talking to the listeners.
Okay.
Watch. I don't remember the fucking name of the game. You can look at the schedule. It's in between the 2K thing and what you have next.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. Because it was before... This was on Monday? Tuesday? No.
Monday.
Yeah. And it's a fever dream, dude. Like they start out talking about how they're making these pop vinyls that you can customize. And then they start out talking about how they're also making a Roblox game to go along with these pop vinyls where you can make your own games within the game using your customized pop vinyl.
Boy. But so Toys to Life is back? Is that what you're saying?
All the assets for the game are NFTs. And they're building the game on the blockchain. But they're also collaborating with like a graffiti artist and also a fashion designer. I swear to God, it was like it was like a 30-minute long it was like a 30-minute long Whitest Kid You Know sketch about like every buzzword that executives are shouting
it's
now.
Like the trendiest thing, it just breaks.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I watched it and I was just like,
boy. I kind of want to check this out after. It makes me so angry.
I'm going to look up the name of the game. But you can keep going.
All right, so next is the Indie Showcase, which I'm not going to run through those. It's mostly stuff that has already come up today.
Yeah.
But if you want to go check that, because it's like the majority of what you're seeing at like the PC gaming show and at this Future game show and the Wholesome director or indie. So it's like, I guess this is just kind of a you further elaborate on something like if like Fallen Aces was here again, and
I think this was the ESA one.
oh, okay. So if they had a floor, a show floor still, this would be like the indie mega booth where the games themselves could
because the PC
played.
gaming show was PC Gamer, the Wholesome was Guerrilla Collective, and then the Summer Games Fest was Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
So none of those were the ESA. So
Gotcha.
I think that was the one that was on the official ESA schedule.
It's just imagine if you wanted your game shown, you would just be like, yeah, I'll do it at all three, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is going to be a weird part. Every year, these guys are not a part of the ESA, but every year they do a little thing that Limited Run, who has come up on the show more than a few times, I think, on our podcast. Yeah. In fact, most recently in our Night Trap series. But they announced that they were doing physical versions of like Super Hot, which I'm very excited for. They're also doing like Axiom Verge 2 and Strife and Blood Rain Betrayal. Zombies Ate My Neighbors is coming back. You mentioned to me like they're actually putting together a Rondo of Blood, like a Castlevania Rondo of Blood cartridge, which was never...
For the TurboGrafx 16, yeah.
Right, yeah, the cards. That's what it is. It's those little card things. And because that never was initially... It was never released in the United States, right? And that was a Japanese exclusive.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Mythical Games was the name of that company, if you want to look that...
Mythical Games?
That blockchain presentation up.
Okay. And it's like... And they've done this before, too, where it's like their first couple of years, they were pressing discs, mostly PS4 stuff, but then they got into Vita and Switch. Yeah. And then with their cards, and then
they also did this with Shantae.
Yes, a Game Boy Advance.
No,
it was Game Boy Color.
Yes,
right?
Game Boy Color, yeah.
And then they did it with Shadows of the Empire and like Pod Racer, actual N64.
Yep.
That shit's great.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these games are very difficult to hunt down and buy because they're expensive.
Especially that Shantae game.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I don't know if they'll do it with Zombies Ate My Neighbors, like if they'll put the SNES one out, but they've done that stuff before too.
Speaking of Shantae. Oh wait, we didn't get there yet.
Oh yeah, but I think them like especially putting things out for the first time that never got that wide distribution before, like especially like in terms of territory, it's like that's neat.
Yeah,
I'm all about that. But then there's a couple other things. Like I think they're getting into just publishing and because they announced that River City Girls 2 was like normally limited run. You just expect to see
games that are already out.
Yeah, physical edition of digital games that you can play. But the one I have to point out, which I know I said I was surprised by other stuff earlier, this was the most unexpected thing to me the entire week.
Yep.
In fact, maybe the whole year, almost ever. But the 3DO and DOS Classic Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is getting a modern release. Like the PS5 is even included in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if people don't know, is a horrible, horrible game made up of... It's not even FMV. Like, it's slideshows. It's... with, like, bad clip art. It is practically unplayable. It barely constitutes a game. It is pretty grossly offensive.
Let me read you the Wikipedia summary for the game.
And I kind of love that they did this.
Plumbers Don't Wear Ties received overwhelmingly negative reviews from critics for its lackluster production value, nonsensical storyline, poor acting, poor humor, and for primarily being presented as a slideshow despite being advertised as full-motion video.
Yeah.
It is widely considered one of the worst video games of all time.
Yep. And here comes Limited Run, and to save it so we can all experience, like, they're only a year away from, like, Big Rigs, right? Like, or, like... like
I'll buy a physical version of Big Rigs.
I would, too. But it's like, this industry is just going to collapse under the weight of its own irony. Like, it's like, I don't... I'm gonna buy this, too.
Yeah.
I know I am.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna have to resubmit this to get rated again. Why? Like, it's... There are games, like, I get the bit, but I really wonder how much that bit is going to be worth in terms of, like, costs. There's not a price yet for this, but there's a bunch of other stuff in limited run showcase. There are physical editions of also like good games too, like what I said earlier with Super Hot and Axiom Verge and stuff. But now we have Capcom, which is, I'm gonna say it, the worst presentation of the show, or at least it's the one that made me the most angry of this entire E3.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
because you did not watch that Koch media.
You're right, I did not. But I think it's just more of how disappointing this is for Capcom. Like, it's a shame. Like, I love, who doesn't love Capcom, especially like they're having a resurgence again. Like in the last couple of years, like they were probably the fucking best publisher of the 8 and 16-bit era, like for sure. But it was basically, no, they did come out front beforehand and like they're like, hey, temper your expectations, but like that's not an excuse to be bad. Like they did say, hey, we're only going to cover these games. But it's like, whatever, man. Like they paid for the slot. I don't know if it's just this may be a bit conspiracy theory, but it's like I don't know if they just want to like be on the good graces to get a solid booth spot next year. I don't fucking know, but this was so pointless. Like, and I watched it anyway because they were gonna lead with some Resident Evil info, which was like the most non-news. But
Reverse is coming out next month.
Reverse is coming next month, which like should have technically been out already, and there still isn't even a date.
And they weren't planning on making DLC for Village, but now they will.
Yeah, like they showed no new content for either, but the RE Village stuff was just like they said they just started it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's funny because 7 beforehand, like they led with like, hey, there's like a season pass and we're gonna add more stuff, and some of it's gonna be like connected closely to the story and some isn't, and then
right.
That followed a schedule. Like the game ends with that ad for the Chris is not a hero campaign, and it's like I don't know if for whatever reason they weren't expecting 8 to sell as well as it is currently doing.
Yeah,
I think they should have known that after the success of 7 in the 2 and 3 makes, but like I thought there was going to be something here, and that is the just like, did I just watch the visual representation of a tweet? Like, like it was nothing. It was like barely even a press statement.
Yeah,
like,
it was literally white text on black screen.
Yeah, and they had the director of the game talking, and I'm happy to see him happy. I fucking loved Village.
Yeah.
I want more Village, but it was just like, yeah. And then they showed, I guess, Monster Hunter Stories 2 again, and some other stuff is coming to Monster Hunter Rise. And then there was the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which, in my opinion, that franchise did not make the jump well to 3D. You told me people are excited for it, evidently, but it also has practically no voice acting, which I think only becomes a larger deal breaker when you have a full console game rather than the handheld, like you know, like the original DS. But that's it. There was no. I think they ended on a some I don't know. It was like
Capcom Fighters.
Yeah.
Well, no. Did you say Monster Hunter Stories too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed it.
No,
I blocked it out.
That's fine. I've already said that.
Yeah, they also said Capcom Fighters will announce something at the end.
Yeah.
Which you would think would be a new fighting game, or a Street Fighter 6 or something else.
Character
a new
in 5,
Rival Schools, a new Darkstalkers, a new Marvel vs. Capcom, or just a new character in the season pass for 5, because there's still one that's not revealed yet. And now would be the time to do it, even if it's just concept art. But nope, they just talked about their esports.
And I think you put it the best yesterday when you were like, I don't know who this is for, because if you're involved in that scene and that like community, like this is all information you already know. And if you're outside of it, then you don't care. Yeah. So like, but yeah, no Pragmata, no RE4 VR or otherwise. That was Capcom. Like,
boo.
Yeah. Seriously. So now we get to Tuesday, which I'm going to say is probably the most anticipated of all of the presentations.
Yes.
They certainly had the highest viewership numbers. But this is the Nintendo's Direct for E3 2021. They did put out like a statement beforehand that it would exclusively be software, which meant no Switch Pro. Which I'm kind of like, I'm just kind of sick of those rumors being a part of the news. I wish that they would announce that thing. Like, I've heard, like, people are saying that some of Bloomberg's reporting is being called into question.
Yeah.
Because they, like, doubled down, like, they, like, more than once about how they, like, no, this thing is coming out this year. Like, we've got proof. Like, you'll see. Again, it's like, will we? Like, I don't know if the chip shortage is going to affect this, and the Switch is already selling gangbusters, so it's like...
Of course it will. The Switch's internals are made by NVIDIA.
Right.
Which that company notorious for being able to get products into customers' hands right now.
So it's kind of like, why do they need to even do this?
Yeah.
So we kicked it off with a bunch of our beloved Smash characters getting thrown into a volcano off a cliff. And it's Tekken's oh shit. How do I pronounce this?
Kazuma, is it?
Kazuya?
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 Kazuya.
The Ouya is coming to Smash?
Yes.
You immediately recognized
Yes.
yeah.
He's like the Ryu of Tekken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because Ryu's in Smash.
Yep.
He's not my type of character, but I still think that's cool. Especially now there are representatives from Street Fighter, King of Fighters, and now Tekken all in the same game. Like, Smash Brothers is fucking wild, man. I think we only have one left on that pass, though, so I don't know who I have to sacrifice for Doom Guy, but yeah, I mean this only just further solidifies that Smash Brothers will always be at the top forever. There's no drop date for that, but you can tune in for more on the June 28th, where you can watch poor Sakurai not be able to retire.
Which that might just be the drop date. They might just be like, it's
out now, and then he'll kind of just further show some of the tactics and how he controls.
And then he'll go back to his cell.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I know. Hardest working man in the business.
Yep.
I've said it, and I'll keep saying it time and time again. Life is Strange is coming to Switch. It did not look like footage from the Switch version, but
No.
it is coming alongside the other platforms September 10th.
My favorite thing was somebody tweeted a picture of that trailer.
Yeah.
And they just went, man, somebody needs to give me this version of Life is Strange. And the guy making Goodbye Volcano High just wrote, man, do I have the game for you?
Then they also, this was not previously announced that Guardians was coming to Switch, and I thought it was, and it's digital only. There's no physical. I think it's a cloud version, like kind of like their Control, what they did with Control.
Yeah.
It's the only way it would.
Also,
work. There's going to be a lot. By the way, going forward, there's going to be a lot of remasters and reboots and stuff on this list.
I believe
they leaned into that. It's very heavy with this.
A Plague Tale Innocence and a Plague Tale Requiem are also coming to Switch cloud versions.
Okay, that was not in their direct.
No, it wasn't.
Huh. Worms Rumble looks like it runs like ass. And apparently that game has been out for a little while, but it seems crappy. Real-time Worms is not my Worms.
I heard it's bad.
Yep. 32 players though. It'll be the new Soldat. Then there's Astra Ascending. I don't think I could choose it in a lineup. I believe it's an RPG coming September 30th.
You're making stuff up.
I'm not, I swear. Then there's 2 Point Campus Hospital. Yeah, it's, fine. But next, it's the Super Monkey Ball Banana Master Collection. What is it called?
Banana Mania.
Banana Mania.
And I only know that because people are saying that Sega's going to start calling all their remasters Mania now.
Oh, like Sonic Mania.
It's
Yeah,
like
but that
Sonic
means
Mania.
that means there'd be new stuff here. That'd be cool. Like I hope. And it apparently includes content from Monkey Ball 1 and 2 and Deluxe, the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
On the original GameCube and stuff. I do it's funny because they actually run through the whole series. Like, they show the handheld one, and I was, like, confused. I was like, is this all of them? But, like, because the motion control shit with Banana Blitz, like, I don't know why they did that first. But yeah, it's their 20th anniversary. It's going to be $40 on everything, which is great. You think Dole is still a sponsor?
No. They went behind their back and got Chiquita.
And that rolls in on October 5th.
Nope.
Yep.
Stop.
Yep.
Get out.
I'm gonna act like the direct guy. But then there's Mario Party. Damn it.
Mario Party Superstar?
Here's the problem. When I'm watching that direct, I'm writing the notes down. They never say the name of the game in the scroll. It's always like a, it's basically, so this is a throwback of the greatest hits of Mario Party. There's old maps, old mini games done in the style of Super.
Mario Party
seems
Superstars.
all right. Mario Party Superstars. Okay. And I guess as per their update to the last one, this one it will have online as well. It's gonna be a standalone pack and also like sport matchmaking, which I just think matchmaking in Mario Party is such an insane concept.
Gotta get my Mario Party MMR up. I'm diamond in Mario Party Superstars.
And then after all these years, Metroid Dread resurfaces as the name itself is taken from the rumor. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken. But they say this is their first 2D entry for 19 years. The concept, I think, is 16 years old. But this will be directly, this is the sequel to Fusion, which they claim will conclude the saga, quote unquote, because remember the trailer says Metroid 5, and then it says Dread later, which is there's a stalking enemy in the game that looks like it will follow you, and in similar vein too. But it's like, I mean, they should also support Samus Returns, but yeah, this comes October 8th with Amiibos. I'm not who's making it, because it's not.
Is it just Nintendo?
I don't think so. I don't believe it is. But we said earlier also about the void of Metroid games having already been filled by so many other there's so many other people have produced them and released them in the meantime. Like your Axiom Verges and stuff. Like there's been no fucking shortage of this style in the years that they took off.
Oh, it's being made by Mercury Steam.
Oh, okay, did Mercury Steam do the last one?
Yeah, they did Metroid Samus Returns. They also did all 3 Castlevania Lords of Shadow games. Oh. And they did Clive Barker's Jericho and American McGee Presents Scrapland.
What about American McGee Presents Bad Day LA?
Nope, just the first one.
Well, they got involved with Nintendo. That's such a bizarre relationship. More or less, it feels like this game is meant to hold people over until Metroid Prime 4, which it goes without saying was not here.
They mentioned it.
Well, I meant it was a no-show in terms of in regards to it actually, but yeah, because they had to reboot it with now it is Metro behind it again. But here's the thing: this game actually looks really cool gameplay-wise, but like it does seem a bit low budget. I think you were talking about how it's like Metroid seems like the kind of series that they're not willing to
shell out the money for. Yeah.
And that's kind of a bummer. I'm sure this will do well. But Just Dance 2022 is back. I'm so again. I hate this year. The sports games have broken my brain forever. That they always do the thing where it's the next year is the modern years. You know what I'm talking about?
It's like Cars.
Yeah. All right. So Cars fucked it up first.
Yeah.
Fuck Cars then.
I agree.
Yeah. Port of the 2017 arcade smash hits, Cruisin' Blast. Speaking of Cars, then there's Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Got anything to say to that? Well, I think there's more to that title, but I don't feel like writing it down.
I remember them saying, the definitive Dragon Ball experience, and I went, no, it is not, sir.
The definitive Dragon Ball experience on the Nintendo console.
No, because Fighters is on Nintendo.
Oh, I didn't think it
Switch.
was. I thought
Yeah.
Fighters was just.
No, it's on Switch.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, they got nothing that they
Yeah.
can say. That new Mario Golf is still on its way. It'll be here before the end of the month. Monster Hunter Stories 2. Again, like, listen, I get it. Monster Hunter's big, but.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah. But one thing I am a little bit cautious of is the latest WarioWare, in which it looks like you directly control the characters the whole time, which much of the fun of the older ones was quickly trying to figure out how the rapid fire games controlled and like how they were played. I mean, we'll see. It's an awesome IP, and it's been so long since the last like full entry, but the focus on like the abilities is weird. It seems very co-op driven. You were saying it seems to downplay the sort of drastic change in like art
It's
style
still,
game.
I
to
watched
game
the
that-
Treehouse. It still has that.
It I guess I don't know.
It's just not the same.
Yeah, it's a great name though.
It is.
Yeah, get it
And
together.
it'll probably be fun.
Yeah.
It's just
And it still better have those 4 and 8 player like competitive modes. I only saw it with the 2.
yeah.
I can't imagine like. But that's September 10th. So we'll find out. And then Shin Megami Tensei 5. Is that a new game or is that a new
It's
game?
new.
Okay, that was announced before though.
Yes.
Yeah, not to be confused with Persona.
No, it's a different
Yeah.
series now.
Then there's the Danganronpa collection, or as I call it, the Lesser Zero Escape
Danganronpa Decadence.
Decadence. Yeah, that's out later this year.
Mm-hmm.
Fatal Frame 4, something of the Black Maiden, I forget.
Maiden of the Black Water.
Maiden of the Black Water.
How do I know that and you don't?
I know, and I'm the Fatal Frame guy too.
Yeah.
But this is a port over of the Wii U version that was not commercially available in physical form in the United States previously. It was, in fact, famously or infamously, I should say, it was a download-only title here that the Wii U was not big enough to download.
Yes.
But they
Which,
got to
guess what?
They got to like they came out in Japan and in Australia. Like, but
Guess what?
the Switch probably ain't either.
Yeah, the
It's
Switch
just
also won't be big enough to download.
you get the. I watched the. There's a Scott the Woz recently where he was talking about how the Switch carts come in a bunch of different sizes.
Yeah.
And I think the max is 64.
Yeah.
And it's just like there are a lot of games that can fit on the 64, but they just choose not to do that.
Yeah.
Like even like the Mega Man collection does that. It's like how big is a fucking Mega Man game? They just won't shell out the money from the 1 gig cart to the 64 gig cart.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're cheaping out. Then and you know it's funny still with the Fatal Frame thing, still no official translation of Fatal Frame 3 from the Wii one, the Suda 51.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but that's coming, and I'm actually curious. Like, I wonder how this is going to control without the gamepad, because the Wii U one, the whole thing was through the what do you call it? The shit. It's like the bad controls in Splatoon. What are they?
Gamepad?
No, the gyro.
Gyro,
Yeah, the whole
yeah.
thing was gyro control. So I don't. I guess if you have your things plugged into the Switch, but if you don't, I don't know how they handle it. We'll find out.
Who the fuck knows, man?
Yeah. Then here's another thing we can comment on control wise is the Doom Eternal DLC is coming to Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And you were saying that like
I had a tough time playing that on an Xbox One controller, which
Yeah.
is infinitely better than a Switch controller.
Also, and Giant Bomb I think pointed this out too, in that the trailer they showed for the Doom Eternal DLC was like really toned down and slow because I guess they didn't want any of like the gore and violence from like the action featured heavily in the footage of the trailer, so it was just kind of like showing Doom Eternal, but a lot of like wandering around and nothing happening. Yeah.
That's my favorite part of Doom Eternal.
Yeah. And then if you want to play an amazing game at half the frame rate and resolution with Poppin', Tony Hawk 1 and 2
Oh, I thought you were still talking about Doom.
Well, that as well, but yeah, the like I don't that it upset me
Yeah,
because
I know.
I really love Tony Hawk, and that remake is incredible. But whatever. Hey, it's on the go, right? I mean, you got that.
Yep.
Strange Brigade. It's coming to Switch.
Weird.
This many years after that game's okay. Like it's
fun.
yeah. More Mario and Rabbids 2. Then Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. I'd ask you the name of the like the
Reboot Camp.
Yeah, Reboot Camp. But it looks dope. I mean, like but also like what if it was a new one? Yeah.
Remember earlier when I said, speaking of Shantae?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is being made by WayForward.
Yes. Yeah. Which it's not Intelligent Systems.
No.
Which, by the way, I guess that they're too busy and
they're hard at
Fire
work
Emblem
on
stuff.
another Fire Emblem thing.
Yeah.
As always.
It's funny because the switch from, well, I don't want to say the word switch there, but the redrawings of the sprites to the polygonal stuff, it's all right. I don't know if it did it as smoothly as even like Battalion Wars
I do
did,
like the
but-
redrawings. I love WayForward's art. I do like the redrawings of the commanders.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
And this has co-op too, and like
Yeah.
online, so that's rad. But then there was it's our moving into the Zelda fucking
Okay.
Zelda mode. They first showed new content for Age of Calamity, or another season of content for Age of Calamity, which, you know, people enjoy that game. It's just funny because they're like really burying the lead.
Yeah.
Because after that there was some Skyward HD info, which is the same, I think, like gameplay we already saw.
Yeah.
Which already that's announced for July 16th. Then there was the Game & Watch Zelda edition, which I think it looks cool.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I'm into
neat.
that.
The Mario
Yeah,
one
it's
was
good.
neat.
The Mario one was neat, and this has even more going on, I think, than that did, because it's Zelda 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Underrated. Zelda 2. But it also has the OG, like the original Link's Awakening, like which is cool. And then a reskin of Vermin, the Game & Watch game, except with Zelda, and then there's like an interactive clock and timer in it and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's coming November 12th, and if it's anything like the Mario one, they'll actually be available and able to find. So and then I think many would say was they were looking forward to seeing the most at their conference that they were also the most hyped for is Breath of the Wild 2. Which there's no final title yet, as they think they later claimed that it would contain spoilers. There wasn't a lot of new gameplay, but the stuff that was there showed like time manipulation and stuff. It said aiming for release in 2022, which I think upset people, but and that maybe thought that something sooner would, because that could also get pushed to 2023 with that attitude. But I know you being a huge fan of the first one. Is there anything more you wanted to say? I think you said that there was a separate video watch that analyzed more of what was happening.
Check out. If you're a big Breath of the Wild fan, check out Kinda Funny. They have like an hour-long video where they break it down.
Okay, because that theory you told me sounds almost too interesting to be Nintendo.
Right, well, that's the first thing. When they said that there's no title because it's too spoilery, I was like, what are you fucking spoiling?
Yeah, that's
like, I love Breath of the Wild with all my heart. It's my favorite game on the Switch, but like...
It's the discovery around the mechanics and world, not necessarily
the story was like, Ganondorf's here, gotta go kill him.
Yeah.
And Zelda's like, oh, I'll help you. Just like every other game. But then there's also like so much... They better not be fucking with people, because there was a lot of
I don't know, if they full-blown Metal Gear Solid 2 this thing, that...
Cool, yeah. Like all the audio in the trailer, if you reverse it, it's the same music and the same audio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's why there was like weird shit that was like in the middle of the trailer, because it was like playing audio backwards. So there's clearly some time manipulation stuff. I don't know, man. It looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
I'd be down to play.
I hope you get what you want, man.
Yeah, I'd be down to play a sequel to Breath of the Wild, and I hope
You and many others.
I hope it's as interesting as they're presenting it to be. I hope there is some crazy story shit and some weird, like, fucked up stuff happening, because that's what Nintendo needs to do more of.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
That's what made like not Odyssey. Sorry, leave such a strong impression of like where, like, where's Mario at? These days, where does it stand? And that's hopefully I can say the same for the rest of their missing in action IPs, in that no Metroid Prime 4 or trilogy, obviously. Bayonetta 3, Splatoon 3, which was funny because that was their and one more thing at the last Direct.
Yeah.
And that no, not a single mention of Pokemon in any way, shape, or form, or Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Like last year's sensation, and not a single like content update or
Yeah.
that was baffling to me. I think some people also suspected that they were going to do like more for the Zelda's 35th anniversary event thing, like
and Metroid.
And Metroid. Yeah, that you're right.
I guess Metroid Dread is technically doing something, but they also didn't really mention it.
Yeah.
No mention of any Zelda collection whatsoever.
Nope. Or Battle Royale.
Yeah. No
Nintendo Switch Online updates in general.
No Twilight
really.
Princess or Wind Waker ports, which people were thinking about.
And then you said No More Heroes 3 was on the Treehouse, but that was not part of the Direct.
It was.
I love that series, but I think that game might be... Yeah, I think that game's a little bit in trouble, and it worries me. And then not to end out on a wet fart here, but there is a Bandai Namco, which I guess is actually... Like, the games they show are cool. It's just... I'm more talking about the, like... Speaking for, like, the energy and, like, and of the presentation, like, what the validity of their...
Yeah, it was just It was just the same trailer for House of Ashes that we saw at the first thing.
Yeah.
And then like a 10-minute interview with one of the devs.
So like was Elden Ring or Scarlet Nexus there? Or
No.
No? Okay. Like, because, listen, like this came up before, so I apologize, but it's like the House of Ashes, like, it still looks great. Like, it's we want to play it. I think it's set in the Iraq War. It's like soldiers who find catacombs and fight demons, and Pazuzu's there. You said there's a difficulty slider this time. They're doing a special edition, which I think is a bit overly like, it's like, I don't know. I really hope they do a better job promoting this one. It almost makes you wonder if they should have stuck with Sony as their publisher and not, like, even if it was just exclusive. Because, like, I love this initiative. Like, I really do. Like, their movie night thing is just, it so speaks to me. And it always makes for, like, just, like, the best Halloween fair for our group. But we don't need to see more. Like,
no, I'm sold.
Yeah, like, we don't... And in fact, like, we already... Anybody who's played Until Dawn on, like, you don't want to see too much. Like, it's about experiencing it all at once, like, together with people.
My favorite... Did you watch the House of Ashes thing?
Yeah.
Okay. My favorite part is the one time when the guy goes... The lady who is interviewing him is like, so what's your favorite scene? And you can see the guy struggling to, like...
Oh, that's a weird question.
Like, and on two levels, because one, the game's not out, and it's entirely story-based, so don't say a scene in the middle of the game.
Yes.
And number two, he tried to say it in the most spoiler-free way possible, but he was like... He had to, like...
He's under NDA as well.
Well, yes, but he had to, like, explain the choices that get up to that point. Because,
so
like...
Let me paint the picture for the context.
Like, you can't just pick one scene because there's so many branching paths.
Yeah, imagine if I asked you what your favorite scene was from a movie that I never saw. Like, that's a stupid fucking ask. Like, it's...
He was like, oh, there's two characters, and that, like, I like their interactions, and if you do the right things, and both of them are still alive at a certain point in the game, then you'll get a scene, and I love that scene.
Oh.
Yeah, like, I was like, oh, wow.
All right. I missed that part, honestly. So that was kind of a wrap up of all the shows. They there was I think they did an awards thing where they declared Forza Horizon 5 as the best of show or the most anticipated, which is surprising. And in my opinion, very earned here that Microsoft and Bethesda did win for I think their conference.
Hell yeah, dude. Fuck off, Nintendo.
And then
Show some gameplay for Breath of the Wild 2 next time.
and then I guess EA Play is July 22nd, so
Yeah,
we can't say.
And Annapurna's doing one July 29th.
Oh no shit!
Yeah.
I wish they would have made it. I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could have seen more on the Donut County guys next game.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what that's called. It looks really
Neon
white. Neon white.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Annapurna's got a few different stuff. Well, I mean, 12 Minutes is them. But,
yeah, the Artful Escape game. That's
yeah,
them.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But and then Sony told everyone else to fuck off.
Sounds like them.
Yeah. So maybe there'll be a state of play this summer, but I'd like to see them. But I have one last thing here, which we watched. I posted that Donkey video earlier that he did on the E3. I didn't know that, like, who the fuck announced the Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo, the video game?
I don't know, man.
When did that happen? And how did I, miss it?
It makes sense. People are making George Orwell games
I know,
left and right.
I was going to say after the Animal Farm game.
Yeah.
That's so weird. But, yeah, I don't know. Any closing thoughts you have? Do we want to say that what we thought are
Yeah, what's your...
top three?
We both agree Microsoft... Top
Yeah.
3 games or conferences?
Top 3 games.
Okay. We both agree Microsoft wins the conference. Best conference. By a long shot.
Yep. No question.
Top 3 games. Halo Infinite
Okay. I think that's a solid
is my
pick.
game of show, I think. I don't know. Do you have your top 3? I gotta think.
I'm gonna say the trailers that tickled me the most were Inscription,
Oh, yeah.
Atomic Heart, and Replaced.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
It's funny to hear me leaning so indie heavy on but I think those were the ones. But obvious shouts out to Halo, like you said. I think that game feels the most real, and in terms of when it's when it's coming and stuff. And I mean, I also kind of want to put Somerville on that list. I want to know more of that. I was impressed with Stalker 2.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Halo Infinite, Inscription, and I don't know, third one.
It's tough because it's I'm already I was already excited for stuff like The Ascent that's coming so soon.
Yeah.
And then there are announcements that are so far out. I'd love to know more on Contraband, but what is there really to go off of?
Yeah.
It's Halo's a good example because it's a game you can just it feels like you can hold it and play it, even though it's not. We haven't gotten to yet, but.
I don't know. I want to say Breath of the Wild 2 because I am stupid excited for it, and that was a cool trailer. It's just in the grander scheme of Nintendo's bullshit that it kind of pissed me off.
Sure.
But that's not the fault of the people making the game. I think that I'm very excited for Breath of the Wild 2, and I thought that trailer was fucking weird, and I hope they follow through on that weirdness.
That's weird trailers are great because that's the thing. It's I also don't want to say stuff I already I was already so hype on 12 Minutes and God, the name of that fucking game, Harold Halibut, that it's I don't need to see more. Same with House of Ashes, like we said.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Honestly,
I think that Evil Dead game showed better than I expected.
I really want to play Phantom Abyss, but that comes out in a week. Not even.
So
by the time most people will listen to this, I think that will be out. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna pick that, but
ooh, I forgot Fallen Aces.
Fallen Aces.
Yeah, that's
Not
in
to
my top
not to
five.
start this argument again, but I thought the Elden Ring trailer was very cool.
I mean, I don't think that's like it's not an argument. I think it's
You
more.
just hate Dark Souls. And
I don't
everybody-
hate
and
Dark
everybody
Souls.
likes
That's
it
the
and wants
funny
them to be
thing.
miserable.
Here's it's jealousy. I don't hate Dark Souls. I'm upset that those people
keep
get what
getting
they,
what they want,
all
yeah.
the time, and
Okay.
they're floored by it every time. Which it's like I guess that it's like you could maybe make the argument that I or challenge me in the sense of like since Resident Evil has been rebooted that like that I'm
Yeah.
finally getting, but at the same time just like every maybe I just want to experience what they're feeling. Like, I don't know. Too much of a Grinch.
I just like it when people are happy, but I guess that's just me. I don't know.
All right. On that note, let's call it.
Yeah, this is very long. Shout outs to Psychonauts 2,
Oh,
Somerville, Far Cry 6, Atomic Heart replaced.
Ooh.
Yeah. Those all look very cool.
Hey, what happened to that alien hominid invasion game?
Oh. All right. Yeah, so thank you for listening to what will definitely end up being over 3 hours, but that's
Sorry.
par for the course for our E3.
Hey, maybe
shit.
we could put timestamps and tell them when we talk about each thing.
I could try doing that.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I could try doing that.
Cool. I don't know. I mean, it's an idea. It might be a little much, but I was gonna say if listeners don't want to hear us prattle on about the entire conference, I could just be like, what are their thoughts on Nintendo, or what are their thoughts on?
Yeah,
If you want to hear me,
that's a good idea.
what are
Yeah,
their
I
thoughts
mean-
on Square Enix? If you want to hear me shout about Capcom,
You want to test how lazy I am?
Ubisoft.
Check the description of the podcast. There may be timestamps there. There may not. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you're listening to this,
I think you'd be forgiven if you didn't go through the extra
Yeah.
step down to do that.
if you're listening to this the day it comes out,
Yeah.
then we have a new episode. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled Monday programming
Yes.
in like 2 days, next week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start a
That's a-
two-parter
It's a goodie.
on Billy Mitchell.
Yeah. Little Mitch.
And yeah, check out our website, hotbuttoncast.com. Subscribe on all them podcast services and check out our socials, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at hotbuttoncast. And yeah, stay tuned for a return to your regular scheduled programming.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you so much. Bye.